Ron Clark, we have it where you're available to talk, and also we have marked it promote you to a panelist. We need you to accept that.
Statutory language to use students' regular medical regimen to manage symptoms. So as you know.
Ron, are you there? Okay, you guys want to back out? So I'm going to turn my camera on. Okay, good morning, everyone. My name is Jeremy Larson. I'm the superintendent for Paris 95. It's an honor for us to have Ron Clark here with us today and present. Before we get started, there are a few different things that I wanted to just make note of. And so I'd like to start with letting everyone know that there are a few key highlights of our presentations today. There used to be a team called the Ed Tech team, and the Ed Tech team was a fantastic team that would promote technology within your buildings. They have changed to D for learning. Okay, so D for learning. They have become engaged, become an engaged educator, and so I highly recommend that you guys participate in that. We also have Monica Genta presenting today, and so I would encourage you to watch that. We have Brian Schwartz, and we also have the athletic director from the University of Illinois, which is just going to be fantastic. So I really highly encourage you guys to try a few of those out. Our keynote speaker for today is Ron Clark. Ron Clark is amazing, and we're so excited to have him. What I'd like to do is show you a video very quick to get us started. So if you could just give me a moment. I apologize, the video is not working with the audio. So we're just going to go ahead and introduce Ron Clark. Ron Clark is from the Ron Clark Academy. He is America's teacher. He has been hosted on the Oprah Winfrey TV show. And so it is our honor today to invite Ron Clark to present. So Ron, you can go ahead and get started if you want to turn your camera on and talk.
Sure will. Hey, everybody, what's up? It's good to see you. Good morning. I hope you're all having a great day. I'm excited to get to spend some time with y'all this morning. Look, I know it's the COVID, and I know we've had all kinds of drama the past year and a half that we've been through. And some of you might not feel like you want to teach right now. I'll be honest with you. I teach 5th, 6th, and 7th grade history and math. I teach all day long. I don't have an assistant. I grade all my own papers. I'm a regular classroom teacher. I also teach 4th through 8th grade current events. So it's a lot. And some mornings I'll wake up and I'll be in the bed and I'll be laying there and I'll think to myself, I don't want to go today. And then I'll hit the snooze button. Then it'll go off and I hit it again. Then I'll think to myself, well, if I don't take a shower, I can hit this snooze button one more time. And I hit it one more time. And then finally I'll pull myself up out the bed and I'll think to myself, I don't want to teach today. Then I'll think, maybe I don't ever want to teach another day the rest of my life. But my name's on the building. I'm stuck. How am I getting out of this? So I say, let me go on, get up. So I pull myself into the shower and I'll put some Zest soap under my nose. I'll spread it there. And I don't know if that's healthy, but it'll wake you up. And then I'm like, woo. And so I'm like, okay, then I'll go ahead and take my shower and I'll come to school. Now I start my day with either my 7th or 8th graders at 8 a.m. 7th and 8th graders, they're like them Dementors from the Harry Potter book. They will suck the life out of you. So they will walk in the door and be negative. And I'll think to myself, I don't want to be here, but I'll do this. What's up, everybody? Come on in. It's good to see you. Have a great day. I love y'all. Let's get going. And I start bouncing, moving around. I'm smiling. When I do that, my endorphins get flowing. My blood's going. My brain's pumping. And so then after about 10 minutes, I'll be like, I do feel good. I do feel good. When I first started teaching, there were some teachers I saw, and I called them sludge in my head because they would walk around like sludge and they'd be like, hey, guess what happened to me today? And I'd be like, oh my God. And I thought, is that the natural progression of teachers? Are we naturally going to all turn into sludge? And so, but then I looked around and I saw some veteran teachers who are happy and smiling. I love my job. I'm happy to be here. And I thought to myself, I want to be that. I want that. I don't want to turn into sludge. And so I told myself, it's a choice. And it's a mindset of telling yourself, you're going to have a great day. You know, you're blessed to get to work with these kids. It's an opportunity to change lives. I've had the chance to visit all 50 states. I love Texas. I've been to 300 school systems where I have tried to learn what is going on in education in our country. And sometimes my staff, we will visit places in the country. Now they in the popo, they ain't got no money. They ain't got no technology. We go to places where schools still don't have computers for the kids. And so I'm like, wow. And so we're going to these schools because they have high test scores. And we curious. We wondering, how they getting these high test scores? They cheating. What are they doing? So we go to these schools, and usually within 10 to 15 minutes, my staff will be looking at each other like, we know exactly why this school has high test scores. And it's because the staff will have this energy. They'll be like, what's up? Come on in. We're so proud of our school. We can't wait to introduce you to our students. Oh, we got to show you this. And there's this energy and the spirit from the people in the building. But then sometimes we go to schools, they in the Richie Rich area, they got like all the technology, multiple science labs. We ain't got one science lab. They got multiple science labs. And the superintendent will say, we should have extremely high test scores here. We can't quite get them, but we don't understand what's going on. And so within 5, 10, 15 minutes of being in the school, we know exactly why. Because teachers will be pulling us to the side and whispering in our ears, if you eat lunch with me, I can tell you everything that's wrong. I can point it out for you, the problems we have here. And so there wasn't a spirit of happiness and energy and pride. It was like, let me tell you what our issues are. And so we learned something. We learned that ain't no school perfect. We learned that every school got some drama, but we learned that you can make a choice. You can look around yourself and say, I'm blessed to be here. I'm honored to be here. I get to work with kids. Some teachers will say to us this, well, I'm at a Title I school. You don't know what I'm dealing with. I'm at the Title I. And so I would say to them, God thought enough of you to put you at a place where you're really needed. Had you rather be at a school where you're not really needed? You can truly profoundly get to make a difference in the lives of these kids. You are so blessed to be here. It's all about your perspective. And so that's what I kind of take into the school. I told myself this year that when anybody asks me, Ron, how's it going? Because I teach all day, but then I also run the school. So I'm the principal and I'm a teacher. Oh, yeah, I do not recommend it. So I said, if people ask me, how you doing? I'm gonna say, I'm great, blessed to be here. I'm honored. I love these kids. Let's go. And I've done it every time someone's asked me, even when I'm having a bad day, because I ain't trying to put no negativity out there. Because if I said, I'm having a rough day, those fifth graders on my nerves, you know what they would say? I know that's right. They're on my nerves too. Negativity breeds negativity. I said, I'm gonna put only positivity. The first year I became a principal was in 2007 when we opened this school. And I was teaching all day and running the school. People would ask me, how's it going, Ron? I was like, horrible. Look, I'm about to kill these sixth graders. They're on my nerves, don't do their homework. This eighth grade mama came in here complaining who she thinks she is. The board members don't understand what we're trying to do here. I had diarrhea. So I would tell everybody everything. And you know what my staff would say? Those sixth graders on my nerves too. And the eighth grade mama, who does she think she is? And you know what? I had diarrhea. I had it too. Maybe there's something wrong in the water here. We should get the school's water tested. Don't drink the water, kids. And I was like, oh my God, now they think something's wrong with the school water. And so I learned that when you, as a teacher, as a principal, as a leader, as a parent, when you complain about things, you're given free reign to everyone in your environment to also complain. And people would just start complaining and just start, saying, oh yeah, well, I got problems too. And so this year I've done nothing but be positive. And right now, this whole big movement, I don't want to offend anybody, but this whole movement is about self-care for teachers. Make sure you take care of yourself. And I see these memes on Instagram. It's like, I will only grade papers on Wednesdays. I'm leaving at 4:00 p.m. I will not be expected to work after hours. And those things bother me because I don't think that's who we are as teachers. When I think of self-care, I think of, as a teacher, it's my job to take care of the people around me. And if we all as teachers take care of each other, we're going to be successful. I want to show y'all something. So this is a picture of my staff. And my staff members, they're incredible people. Here's a picture of them. But this kind of embodies who we are here at RCA, because I tell my staff every year, I say more than test scores. Let me give a pretty background back up. I say more than test scores, more than relationships with parents, more than curriculum, more than incredible lessons. Your number one job description to me is take care of each other. As a staff, I want you to be kind to each other. I want you to uplift each other. I want you to leave each other's names at your mouth. Don't talk about each other, because I don't want anyone on our team to wonder, they talking about me? They don't like me? Like, we are in a battle here, y'all. We got test score drama, the COVID, parents. We have all these things we're dealing with. We're on the front lines of a war. We can't be tearing each other down. Like, if it was a real war and we're on the front lines, would you be talking about each other? I just don't like the way she holds her gun. You know what I'm talking about? I don't. You would not do that. And so you can't do that in a school either. Stop talking about each other. You got to be a team and a family. And I know there's some people you don't like, because that's human nature, but you ain't got to tell everybody about it. And you still need to treat everybody with respect. And so my staff, I tell them every year, more important than anything, be a family, be a team, cheer for each other, high five each other. And when someone does something well, you let them know you're proud of them. Let them know, that's awesome. I love that lesson you did. Because after visiting all 50 states and 300 school systems, you know what I learned? We got some bullies in America. When I talk about bullies, I ain't talking about the kids. I'm talking about the teachers. There's some teacher bullies. Because you know what they do? Teachers will say things like this. Oh, Lord, you're making us look bad. You're always doing so. You're doing some. Oh, Lord, you're making us look bad. Oh, why'd you decorate your door? Now I'm going to have to decorate my door. Well, I was just trying to add some color to the hallway. I know, but don't you see how your door makes my door look? But it's fine. I'll decorate it's fine. I'll decorate my door. It's fine. And so it's like, and then they'll say, oh, what are those? Are you Xeroxing field trip forms? Lord, go ahead and make enough for my class too. I don't want people to say, I don't take field trips. Where are we going? And y'all were some kind of loud in class yesterday. I could barely hear myself think. Hope y'all got some learning done. So teachers in America are doing this. I guess I won't decorate my door next year. And I guess I won't be loud. And I guess I won't take field trips. Don't want to make anybody look bad. Y'all, we have people in America, incredible educators, who are dumbing themselves down because they don't want to have other people say, make them look bad because they're being bullied. Y'all, we can't be that as a profession. We got to lift each other up, support each other. And if you see somebody going above and beyond, you go tell them, that's awesome. I love that lesson. Thank you for tutoring those kids after school. I bet they love that water balloon fight. You're an incredible educator. You got to lift each other up, because when you lift each other up, you lift yourself up. And y'all, we got drama in this profession. Did you know that the New York Times just released an article and they said 2/3 of school districts in our country has a shortage of teachers? 2/3. So only 1/3 of districts in America have enough educators. 2/3 don't. And so, and y'all know the real truth. Y'all know that some of those positions being filled, and they ain't being filled with somebody you want teaching your kid. You know what I'm saying? And you probably work with some people, you're probably like, I don't want my child in that class. So we are not pulling the best and brightest into our profession. And then this whole self-care movement, then we go online and everybody's complaining about our jobs. On Friday on Instagram, you will post a picture and say, this is me on the end of Friday at the end of school week. And you'll put a picture of a drowning rat like that. And you'll say, that's you at the end of school week. You know what you're doing? You're ruining our chances to attract new people to our profession, because people will see that post and be like, ooh, I ain't gonna be a teacher. You can't put negativity out there. You can't go on there and say, ooh, I don't know why I became a teacher. Today I need prayer. Y'all pray for me. I'm having a hard time at school. Every time you say something negative about teaching, 10 days to the break, 9 days to go till break, can't wait till my summer break. Every time that you say something like that, or every time you post, it's so hard being a teacher, teacher self-care, you're sending a message, I don't want to do that job. And so we're not getting the best and brightest to come into our profession. Here's how I view self-care. Imagine the person you love the most in the world. Picture that person, okay? Now, they in the hospital, and you with them when they sick. They need a doctor. They might die, and the doctor don't come. And you say to the nurse, where the doctor? I need a doctor. And she's like, well, the doctor will be in soon. She's busy, but she'll be in as soon as she can. The doctor doesn't come in all day. So the next day, you hot. You like, where the doctor? I need a doctor. She's going to be here soon. She's just really busy. The doctor don't come. Your loved one's about to die. Finally, day 3, the doctor comes in and the doctor goes, I'm so sorry. I'm practicing self-care. And so I'm trying to, have a healthy life-work balance here. You'd be like, I be darn, you better get up in here. You better take care of my, wait, self-care. Nope. You wouldn't accept that. And I don't think American parents should accept when we say, I'm just only going to grade papers on Wednesdays. That's just not who we are. And so my view of self-care is to do something for others. And if you are feeling low because of the COVID, the one thing I've learned to lift you up more than anything else is to do something to help people around you. Be kind to your staff, take care of each other, be a family. And that is how we can start to, have our profession feel a little bit differently. And also in terms of recruiting, more than anything you do this year, more than anything with students or parents or curriculum, I think who you hire to work in your school is more important than anything else. And so you as a staff and your principals, the admin, you all are in charge of recruiting for your school. And that means you can't put negative stuff on social media about your school or about our profession. And you got to make sure your website is great. Your school website, if I'm thinking of working with y'all, I'm gonna go check it out. And if it hasn't been updated, no new news, just looks kind of basic, I'm thinking, I don't know if I want to work there. Then when I go to look at the staff, if it's just the name and the email, I'm like, because some schools, they've gotten somebody to go around with a cell phone and take a cool shot of all their staff members, the custodians, the secretaries, and they've got all their pictures there. And somebody put in a little bio, like, here's the hometown, here's their favorite book, here's a movie they recently read. So it just looks great. Because if I go to your website and see that, you know what I'm going to say? This is a school that really values its staff. Sounds like a family. I think I want to work there. You're going to attract more people. And if you go to your best friends and say 10 great things about working at your school, they're not going to go tell anybody. But if you say one bad thing about your school, well, guess what happened today? They're going to tell everybody. It's going to go around the whole Texas. It's going to reach to Oklahoma. It's going to go everywhere because negativity spreads. And then you know what? There was an incredible teacher who was thinking of working at your school, and she was thinking of applying. And she said to someone, yeah, I think I might apply there. And the person said, I heard bad things. I don't think you want to work there. Okay, maybe I want to apply. Y'all, you just lost somebody great because negativity was out there and you caused it. And that person working with them would have made your life easier. So it's all about marketing, PR, positivity, and that mindset of saying, I am blessed to be here. I had the colon surgery back this spring. Look, for 2 months, I don't even remember them. I don't remember them. I was medicated. I took all up. Like I was out. And so I don't even remember much of it, but it was horrible. And I remember being in bed in the hospital thinking to myself, if I ever walk again, I'll be so grateful. I will never, take it for granted. If I can teach one more time, I just want to get in that class and be with those kids and teach and make it exciting one more time. And so now I had this newfound appreciation. But y'all, don't wait till that doctor give you the colonoscopy surgeon, the colon surgeon. Don't wait till that has to happen. Don't wait till somebody has to go up your rectum before you realize I'm blessed to be here. I'm alive, have opportunities. Don't wait until that moment. Do it now. And so, but like I said, I teach here. I teach 5th, 6th, 7th, and 8th grade. I've been really trying to make it exciting because it is the COVID. I've tried to do fun things. Like I was doing my probability lesson, and I just took 4 shaving cream cans. 3 were empty, 1 was full. And I said, all right, everybody, we're going to do this probability lesson. What is the chance if I pick 1 can, I'll pick the one with shaving cream? They said 25%. I said, great. I said, but what if I want to pick 3 times in a row? What are the odds I would pick the shaving cream can 3 times in a row? So we're doing this lesson. And then I said, you know what I'm going to do? For every 10 minutes that y'all are really paying attention, trying hard, I'm going to stop. I'm going to let y'all pick one of the cans and I'll spray it in my face. If you pick the right one, I'm going to get shaving cream all over me. And we're going to see by the end of this lesson, what was the probability? Was the probability we predicted, was it accurate? And so it was really fun. I did it with 5th graders and they tried 5 times and they never picked the right can. They were devastated. My 7th grade class, first time, they got it all over me. And so the 7th grader said, oh, but the probability didn't work. It happened too soon. And the 5th grader said, it should have happened. Why didn't it? And so we turned it into a good lesson about how with more data, probability is more accurate. And then I was teaching this lesson about persuasive language. And I was asking the kids, what are words people use to try to convince you to do something or to persuade you to do something? And so they're like in an advertisement, they're like buy one, get one free, limited time only, hurry, you got to hurry up. The word you is very powerful because it's used as a collective. Like Uncle Sam said, I want you, but it sounds like they're talking to you, but it really is just being used as a collective. It's a powerful word with persuasive language. And so then in the middle of the lesson, Ajane Smith, who is a teacher here at our school, she walked in with this present that I had wrapped earlier in the day. And she said, oh, Mr. Clark, this present just arrived for the 5th graders. Your mom called, she said it's from her, and the 5th graders have to open it immediately. And the kids were like, oh, what? I said, oh, I know what this is. Since it's the COVID, Mama was upset that we all couldn't visit her house. So she baked y'all brownies and cookies and toys, and she sent this big package for y'all. And they're like, yes. I said, but we ain't opening it because we got learning to do today. And if you open it, you're going to miss some of my class time eating cookies and brownies, and I ain't wasting my class time. You can open it at the end of the day. And I thought the kids would push back against me, but they didn't. They said, yes, sir. I was like, darn it. So I said, maybe I'll let the 6th graders open it. They're like, no, not the 6th graders. I said, well, listen to me. 6th graders, they're a strong group. I bet they would promise me to do double homework to make up for the missed class time. They said, we'll do double homework. I said, no, y'all wouldn't. They said, yes, we would. I said, so y'all promise to do double homework tonight if I let you open this present? They said, yes. I said, okay, go ahead. And they ripped into it. And you can probably all guess what was inside the box. It was the doubled homework assignment. And they were like, why would your mom send this? I started laughing. I said, my mom didn't send it. I wrapped that. I put it in there. I said, but how did I convince you using persuasive language that you had to have it, that you needed it, that you wanted it right then and there, that you would even do double homework to get it? And so it turned into a lesson about how did I use persuasive language on them. And then I made them do the double homework assignment as well. It was great because it just this big conversation. And when I think back to teaching over the last several months, I'm thinking about Dante's face. Why would your mom do that? I'm thinking about the shaving cream. I'm thinking about those fun moments because when you make those fun moments in your class, not only do the students remember them, you remember them as well. Some days I just do something simple. I'll say, all right, everybody, for every 10 minutes, I'll stop. The side of the class is paying attention the best and really focused. I'm going to let y'all take this piece of paper on your desk, ball them up, and throw them to these trash cans. At the end of the class, we'll see which side got the most in the trash cans. In that class, you're the most athletic. You're going to win. You will have every student doing this. When I was doing student teaching, did with my 11th graders, they went crazy. 11th graders, focus. It was awesome. And so I learned that you can do this fun, exciting stuff with whatever grade. And then some days, I'll be honest, y'all, I run the school as well. So like a kid will be a discipline problem or something. A third of the kids that come to our school come with a past history of discipline problems. A third of the kids that come here, they have a learning issue. They've never been academically successful, or they have an IEP. A third of the kids that come to our school, they're doing great. They're on the honor roll. Then for every 30 kids in each class, we can accept 3 who are gifted. The one thing our kids have in common, though, is that for 75% of our students, the average family income is $27,000 a year. So the majority of our kids are low income. We do have some high income, just a few. But so we have some challenges. But what are our results here? Our results here are that 100% of our kids for 14 years have gone on to graduate high school. 91% of our kids are in college. But not only do they go to college, they go to the best colleges in the nation. They are at Princeton and Spelman and Howard and Yale and Duke and Harvard and Texas A&M. And they go to these incredible colleges all over the nation. And these kids are killing it because not only do they go to the college, they are the student government president. They're starting organizations at the Homecoming King. They're taking it by storm. And we like to think that we help them get there. And how do we do that? Knowing that a lot of our kids have discipline problems, they have learning disabilities. Last year's 8th graders here got $4.8 million in scholarships. How are we doing this? It's because at our school, we have a balance. On one hand, it's fun. It's the present for persuasive language. It's the shaving cream. It's the throwing the basket. It's hands-on. We dress in costumes. We use music. And some days, because I'm busy, I won't have time to do some special lesson. I ain't got no time to do a special lesson. I'm going to do a regular old direct instruction lesson because I ain't got time to do nothing else. And I know sometimes you feel me. You get into direct instruction basic lesson today. But then I tell myself, if that's all I got to give today, I'm going to give a little something else. I'm going to be in the best mood ever. I'll just be in a good mood. That is my special power today. I ain't got no shaving cream, throwing it back. Nope. Good mood. The kids will come in. I'm like, what's up, everybody? It's good to see you. I love y'all. Let's have a great day. I love this topic. It'll be so cool. And I'm just bouncing around and I'm happy and I'm just trying to be in a good mood because that's what I'm giving them. And that's what we do at our school. It's about relationships, energy, passion. Then on the other hand, we are the most academically challenging middle school in the world. And I've been around. We went to 26 countries, been all over the 26 different countries, 50 states. I don't think I found a middle school harder than us. We're really rough here. We like to Harvard or middle schools. And so, because what we found is that when you expect a lot of kids, they'll get there. The more you expect, the more you're going to get. But also, you got to have that love, that energy, that passion. We went in some classrooms in America, and some teachers had glitter and balloons and puppy dog feelings, and it was just so great. And the teachers would be like, oh, I love my kids. I love my 9th graders. They're my babies. But then they wouldn't be challenging the kids. The kids would love those classes. Oh, yeah, we love our class. But they'd be like, no discipline, be a mess, no academic rigor. And I would say, listen, you have now got these kids to a point they want to be in your classroom. They love you. Now's the time to push them. Academically expect a lot. I don't know. A lot of these kids come from challenging backgrounds. I just want to cover them. I'm like, no. We got to prepare them for the real world. I know. I just can't fuss at them because I just love them so much. What? We got to prepare them. You got to have high expectations because you loving them is not going to get them a job. You loving them is not going to get them a scholarship. You loving them is not going to allow them to go be successful in the world. We have to have that balance of the love, which is important, with the rigor, with the push. Now, some classes we went into, hard. We went in some classes like, this teacher real hard, but there was no love, no energy. And the teachers will say this, well, the kids these days just don't want to learn. It's not like they used to. I mean, they just don't, you can lead a horse to water, you can't make them drink. And they would complain because they didn't realize you got to make a bridge. It's got to go hand in hand. You want to have the energy, the love, the excitement, along with the academic rigor. And when you have those two things, that's when you're going to have success. And we have had great success here doing that at RCA. And the reason why we think it's so important is because y'all might not know this, but the United States, we are currently ranked 41st in the world in terms of math and science test scores. And y'all, that scares me. We're 41st. You can Google it right now. There are 40 countries ahead of us in terms of math and science. And that scares me. Oh, you know why? Y'all see that UFO report that came out? Well, I don't know if you saw it or not, but when Donald Trump was running for president, he promised that if he became president, that when he became president and got in office, he would release all them secret UFO alien files, like the X-Files. He said, I'm going to show America everything we know about aliens. Well, he became president, people are like, oh my God, he's about to release the alien stuff. And then he said, oh, we'll see, which made everybody think, he done seen that there's some aliens. He ain't trying to tell nobody. Lord. Well, last December, right before he left office, he signed an executive order saying that our government had to release everything you know about aliens. And this summer, the report came out. And basically, here's what it said. It's like there's 144 times our military, they have filmed some spaceships. They said, we don't know where they're from. They do things that we don't understand, the way they stop, flip, big ones, technology. They put a few of the videos on YouTube so you can see an example. And they said, we don't know where they're from, but we do know this, 90% of the time, they're spotted over our military bases. And so wherever they're from, they're looking at our military bases. And then at the end of the report, they said, but we're not saying these are from another planet. We're just saying they're unidentified, which means we don't know where they're from. We just don't understand the technology. And perhaps it's that China or Russia has developed some type of a technology that we don't understand yet. And that's it. They're just spying on us. And then I thought to myself, well, we 41st in the world. That's about right. When you 41st, yeah, the people at the top, they're going to have a technology that you don't understand. And then when I walked across our country and all these schools, you know what I saw? Teachers sitting down behind desks. How are you going to sit down behind a desk with students in the room? Y'all, we got to save America. We 41st in the world. I want to yell to teachers, get up. We 41st in the world. The aliens coming. And people, how are you going to sit down? You have an opportunity to get up and to inspire lives and to do whatever you have to. I think it's patriotic to teach with your heart. And when I look at my kids, I don't think to myself, yeah, I'm going to change their lives. I'm thinking I'm going to change their lives because I'm going to be a patriot. And by changing their lives, I'm going to help our nation. We can't be 41st in the world. Come on, let's go. Like, I don't know if any of y'all watched the Olympics this summer. Americans don't like no silver medal. We don't want no bronze. Like, if you're watching the Olympics and an American gets a bronze medal, you know what we think? She ain't going to be on no Wheatie box. Her career over. She ain't going to get no endorsements. We're like, bless. Then if they get a silver, we're like, oh, how disappointing. And the commentator will say, you promised your mother on her deathbed that you would win a gold medal for her. She's dead now, and you did not fulfill that promise. How does this feel? So it's like nobody in America wants anything but a gold. We want the gold. Well, y'all, if it were the Education Olympics and they televised it, we wouldn't even be in the top 10. Not only did we not get a medal, we ain't in the top 10, 20, 30, we 41st. That is embarrassing. Our country is 29th in the world when you take all test scores combined. And then teachers sitting down behind desks, I'm like, come on, we got to get up. We got to have passion. We got to have fire. So that's what we do here at RCA. We eat lunch with kids every day. I visit every home of every kid I teach. It's hands-on. There's music, there's energy, but there's an expectation here. And we push these kids. And you know what? It's really harder to push. It's harder when you push kids, because when you're pushing kids academically, you have to work harder. But that's when we have to dig deep. One thing I was told when I was in college was, how do you handle a classroom where I've got some gifted, some average, some low? I was told, teach to the middle, hit them all the best you can. Just save yourself. And so I got in my school and I realized that was kind of one thing I heard, just teach to the middle, just hit them all the best you can. I looked at my gifted kids, and my gifted kids were like this. I said, you have 10 vocabulary words. Test is going to be on Friday. And the gifted kids, can I take the test today? No. And we would think they're being snotty. They're not being snotty. They're just smart, and they're tired of this dumbed down education system. America has a wussified, dumbed down education system. No, the test, 10 words on Friday. Really? We're expecting these kids to learn 10 words in 5 days? Come on, y'all. What are we doing here? And so then I realized that we really don't teach to the average kids in our country either. In America, we teach the kids who are not achieving. That's where all the focus is. I'll sit in classrooms and watch. There's 30 kids. If one kid doesn't understand it, the teacher goes, okay, y'all, let's slow it down. I'm gonna explain it one more time. Make sure you all understand it. American education is like walking through mud, because we're making sure every baby in the room understands everything before you move on. We're doing a disservice to our gifted kids, and we're also doing a disservice to our kids who have special needs. Because when you teach to their level and you're not expecting more of them, you're doing a disservice to them too. I hate when a kid gets a label and someone automatically assumes, oh, this kid isn't smart. That is not what the label means. That label means this kid learns differently. This kid could be smarter than anyone in the room. It just means we're going to find different ways to present this information, to make it hands-on, to bring it to life, to modify it sometimes if we need to. But to expect that these kids aren't smart, that's doing a disservice to those kids as well. What we have found here at RCA, when we look at our class of 30, I find the smartest kid in the room, bam, and that's who I teach to. But then I make it hands-on, interactive, exciting to get every kid up to that level. And that's why we have such high test scores. And then I do have some kids who they will struggle. So here's what I do for them. And y'all may not want to do this, and that's okay. But every day after class, I film these videos. Like I'm on my little break. So here's like an example of one of them. So basically, whatever we covered in class, I film a little video of myself talking about the problem, but I go slower. And so I do it for geography class, I do it for history, I do it for my math class. And so what the kids can then, I put it in a Google Classroom. So then the kids go home, and if they're struggling, they can watch that video and play it down and slow it. Some of my classes, I don't have a break between. Normally I have 15 minutes, but most of them just go back to back to back. So in those situations, I got my camera set up in my class, and then a class will say, all right, everybody, for the last 5 minutes, why don't we review one more time what caused the War of 1812? The War of 1812 was, and I'll just review it, but I press record. And so then I'll take that video, which I just did at the end of my class, and I'll say, all right, kids, that last 5 minutes, I put it on Google Classroom. And they were like, thank you so much. Kids will really appreciate it because they can watch it slowly. They can make sure they understand it. It's just important because if you teach to the top, you will have some kids who will struggle. You got to have ways to catch them and to give them what they need. But here's one thing I've learned: the more you expect, the more you're going to get. But you know why it's hard? You know what's hard to do? Because right now in America, we are raising a generation of kids where it's all about their self-esteem. Self-esteem of the babies. I want them all to feel good about themselves. And parents in America, ooh, they're on my nerves. Because parents in America, they're going to be the death of us. It's one of the reasons why teachers are leaving our profession, because parents treat us like the help. And they just want us to tell their kids they're all special. They're all wonderful. Oh my goodness, they're all so talented. That's what they want to hear. And when you reward some kids over others, they don't like it. Like on the Little League team, everybody's got to get a trophy now because they all participated. And our soccer coach about 10 years ago said, can I just give every kid a trophy? I said, no, you have money, you get one MVP trophy. He said, yeah, I'd rather just get like some ribbons for everybody. He said, it'd be much easier on me. The parents won't give me a hard time if I pick an MVP. I said, no, you got to pick an MVP because y'all, this is capitalism. In capitalism, you got to teach kids, you got to work hard. If you work hard, your work ethic will be rewarded in our country. We're giving so much to kids these days. We're raising them with a socialist mindset to live in socialism. I'm not saying anything right or wrong about socialism or capitalism. All I'm saying is that America's capitalist. So if you want kids to be successful, you have to ingrain that in their brains. And in a capitalist nation, the only kid should get the trophy is the MVP. That teaches the lesson. And when your child says, why didn't I get a trophy? Because you ain't the MVP, get in the car. That's what we should say, but parents in America don't. Parents in America will say, oh, baby, well, come on. You are the MVP. I don't know what that coach is thinking. I'm going to take you to Walmart. We're going to get you a trophy. So that's what's happening in America. And so we're raising this coddled generation of kids, and it's on my nerves because then when we try to challenge these kids, America is the only place where parents will say, what's wrong with your teaching methods that my child's not having more success? He's gifted. I'm like, he's in the program. He's tested into the gifted program. So I know that he's not the problem here. I just wonder what's wrong with your methods. It's like, what's wrong with us that these kids are being more successful? He's lazy. He ain't working. And then parents will say this, well, I don't make him do chores because his chore is just to be on the honor roll. Yet your kid's on the honor roll in a dumbed down education system that's 41st in the world. And you celebrating that? That is not to be celebrated. And so what I try to do here at RCA is build relationships with parents, bond with parents, and explain to them, this is why I'm going to push your child. This is where I want your child to be in the future. I know you agree with me. We're going to have a balance here. I need your help with that. I've learned that if you want to deal with parents, there are 3 things that every parent wants to hear. When a parent wants to hear, oh, I think your child has potential. I really like your child. You're a great parent. So every time I talk to a parent, I make sure I say those things. It's unfortunate we have to, but I said those things. Every time I talk to a parent, like I had to suspend a girl because kids make dumb mistakes. And I went into the lobby to get her parents for the meeting. And I turned around the corner, the dad is there and he's just built. He's jacked and he's doing this. And the mom, she big too. She was like, and I was thinking to myself, oh my God, I am not built to take a hit. And I was like, Lord. So I went and I got them and I sat down with them. And as soon as we sat down, I said, I love y'all. You're great parents. You've raised a phenomenal daughter. We see her potential here. She's such a great kid. Fortunately, sometimes good kids make mistakes and there have to be consequences, but it doesn't mean we don't think she's awesome. It doesn't mean we don't think that you're great parents. And the dad goes, thank you for saying that, Mr. Clark. And we had a great meeting. Everything was fine. But if I had sat down and said, now I have 3 signed affidavits from other kids that saw her do this, it wouldn't have gone well. And so I had to make sure I had that relationship first. And so when you have that relationship, it makes it a little bit easier when you want to push kids that have those high expectations. But all of this I'm telling you about, it started many years ago. I started teaching in 1994 in North Carolina. I'm from the country. You can probably tell in my mouth the tractor falls out. But I grew up down dirt road. And so no one in my family had ever been to college. I was the first one to go. I went to East Carolina University. And when I graduated, I was working at the Dunkin' Donuts. And at a local school, a 5th grade teacher passed away in the middle of the school year. My mom said, Ron, you got to go teach. They ain't got teachers to go teach down there. And we don't want those kids to have substitute teacher. Please go substitute teach. I said, no, Mom, I don't want to do it. And she said, well, if you don't at least go talk to the principal, I won't support anything you do for the rest of your life. You know how mamas can be. I was like, fine. So I go to this school and the principal was wide open. She said, oh, Mr. Clark, this class is all different types of learning levels. I got some AD kids, some BEH, some ADHD. I've even got some plain BAD kids. I got some of everything. She said, you're just a man for the job. I said, no, I'm not. She said, what, don't you want this job? I said, no, ma'am. She said, then why are you here? I said, my mama made me come. I don't want this job. She said, well, can I at least introduce you to the students? I said, okay. So she walks me down the hall. I look in the class. The class is going crazy, throwing paper. Kids are rude and loud. The poor substitute was trying to teach and her wig was off to one side. And I looked down and this little kid looked up at me and said, is you going to be our new teacher? And I said, I guess so. I don't know, I just had a feeling in my heart. Our school motto is no fear, dream big. If you got something in your heart, go for it because you only live once. And so if you feel it, do it now. And so when the kid said, will you be the teacher? I was like, I guess so. And the principal said, really, you'll take the job? And I was like, I guess I will. And next day I started teaching and I don't know what I was doing, y'all. It was rough. Had 34 kids in there. They were disrespectful. I would sit in the parking lot in the morning and tell myself, Ron, you ain't going to let these kids see you cry. You're going to push through. And I go in there and I told myself the most important thing in life when you work with kids is to be in a good mood. Happiness. That's the most important quality when you work with humans. Every human is attracted to happy people. So I'd go in there, what's up, everybody? We're going to have a great day. Let's go. But they still would be like this, like that. No energy, no passion. I did something. I'm going to tell y'all I did it. And don't think less of me when I tell you what I did, okay? I did something really bad. It's my first week teaching in 1994. It was a different day and time. This is back when they would draw circles on the chalkboard, make kids put their noses in the circles to be disciplined. So I couldn't get the kids to pay attention. So I got filing cabinets from the back of my room and put them between the aisles. And I got partitions from the library and put the partitions between the rows. So when the kids looked to the left or the right, they just saw a filing cabinet or partition, so they couldn't see other students. So they just had to focus on me. And then this is where it gets really bad. I put partitions in the 4 corners of the room. So if a kid continued to be disrespectful, I said they got to stand in a corner behind a partition and their nose in the corner. I know, please don't judge me. I didn't know what I was doing. It's my first week of teaching. Well, one day all the kids had left. It was 4 o'clock. I was grading papers at my desk and I was sitting there and all of a sudden I heard boom. And I was like, what in the world is that? And I looked and 2 hours earlier, I had put Jermaine Haywood in that corner and he was in there and he'd fallen asleep. And finally, he just fell over, boom, and took the whole partition down with him. I was like, I'm gonna go. I said, Jermaine, the buses have already gone. I didn't know you were there. Come on, buddy. I'm gonna drive you home. We ain't telling nobody what happened. Come on. So drama. So I thought I was going to jail. I said, oh, they're going to lock me up. This is horrible. I'm going to lose my job. So the whole next day, I'm thinking the principal's going to come fire me any minute now. But she never came. And so I was finally like, I don't think Jermaine told anybody. God bless him. Well, anyway, I said, well, I can't have partitions and filing cabinets in here. This is not the answer to education. And I was like, what is the answer? How do you do it? And then this girl named Antoinette said, everybody's coming to my birthday party. I said, no, everybody ain't coming. I didn't get invited. She said, it's just for kids. I said, oh, because if I got invited, I'd bring a present. She said, a present? I said, mm-hmm. If I come, I'll bring a really nice present. She said, okay, you can come. So I pull up into the trailer park and I got the present. She comes running over. All the kids were playing freeze tag. And I handed her the present and she didn't say thank you, but she said, you want to play freeze tag? I was like, sure. So I go over for 2 hours, play freeze tag. I about died. And then finally I decided to leave. I said, all right, Antoinette, thank you so much for letting me come. I'm leaving. She said, okay. Didn't say goodbye or anything. Monday morning, she comes into my classroom. I said, Antoinette, again, thank you for letting me come to your party. I enjoyed myself. She said, uh-huh. Didn't say thank you, but she didn't go sit on the back row where she had been sitting. She sat on the front row. She was telling other kids to hush. She was trying to answer questions. I said, oh, she's trying to show me appreciation. She won't say it. She's showing it. This job is about relationships, taking moments to bond with kids, asking them, how you feeling today? I care about you. Doing all right? I started going to their basketball games. I started going to hear them sing in church. The teacher across the hall said, I ain't getting paid to go to some basketball game on a Saturday. I said, well, 1 hour that basketball game has made the rest of my year better. I will trade off an hour for an entire year of happiness. And then I started eating lunch with the students because I found when I would eat lunch with the teachers, y'all, we vent a lot about how hard our job is. Now, please stop. Stop venting. Nobody wants to hear how bad your day was. Nobody wants to hear what you're not happy about. Nobody wants to hear your complaint. Stop it. Nobody wants to hear it. And I'll sit there at the lunch table and teachers will try to one-up each other. Well, you ain't gonna believe what happened to me. I had to send 2 kids to the principal's office. The next person. 2, try 3. Guess what happened to me? Oh, but guess what parent was at my door at 7 a.m. this morning waiting for me? And I would walk away from the lunch table and I felt it. I felt everybody's problems. And I'm a fixer. I like to help people. And I felt like the weight of the world was on my shoulders. And that's not fair to each other. And if some of you got your best buddy that you work with, think about your conversations with your best buddy. Are you constantly venting to your best buddy? Because you know what you two are doing? You're taking your issue and dumping it on that person. They're taking their issues and y'all are weighting each other down. You're making each other not happy. And y'all, you only live once. Why are you spending your life weighting each other down? And so stop it. But I started eating lunch with the students. And y'all listen, eat lunch with the discipline problems. They funny at lunch. And I would sit there and they would make me laugh. And it didn't make them perfect in my classroom, but I would be like, Ronnie Martin, what are you thinking? And he'd go, oh, sorry, sir. I could pull them right back. So they wouldn't be perfect kids, but whenever they messed up, I said, what do you think? Oh, sorry, sir. Sorry, Mr. Clark. I could pull them back because we had that relationship that was important. And then when I was trying to teach content, I had issues. I was trying to teach the difference in World War I and World War II, had a Venn diagram up, and the students were like to fall asleep. So I did this. All right, everybody, repeat after me. World War I. And they're like, World War I. And I was like, 1914 to 1918. World War II. They're like, World War II. I was like, 1939 to 1945. I did it a few times, and the kids were like this. They didn't really like it. But when I was eating at the lunch table with them, at the end of the lunch table, I heard kids going, 1914 and 1918. I was like, oh my God. Then when I graded the test, every kid in the class got those dates right. And these were kids, a lot of them were low. But look, they didn't remember Charles Lindbergh was 1927 or the details about the Harlem Renaissance, but they all put 1914, 1918, 1939, 1945. And I said, it was that little jingle. I'm gonna put everything to music. And so I just started taking lots of little jingles and using things and hand signals like in math. We'd be like, now when you have 2 negatives, you will get a bigger negative. When we begin together. Parentheses first. Now, please be clever. Exponents come right next to the line. Then you multiply it and divide at the same time. So I do these little chants and cheers, and students will be taking their tests doing this. And I said, this is awesome. And like when I did my 11th grade student teaching, when I was working with them, I had issues because a lot of you won't remember this because you're too young, but there used to be a show called The Love Boat. And I loved it. So I took the Love Boat song and I changed it to about geography for my geography students in 11th grade. And I was like, love, exciting and new, come in class. I'm going to teach you. It was a song. The kids are like this. It's stupid. So sometimes when you're working with kids, you have to present things a different way. I went and took the 3 most popular kids to the Pizza Hut. And I said, y'all, what's the most popular song out right now? We took the words of that song and changed them to apply to what we were learning with World War II. And then we went in and those kids presented the song and the kids in the class were like, oh, that's so cool. Like when I went to Harlem to teach, I asked the most popular kid in the class, Tamara. I said, Tamara, what's the most popular song? She said, the thong song. I was like, oh my God. I was like, how am I going to use women's thongs? I was like, maybe in science class, we can pop them and measure the distance. And I was like, no, that ain't going to work. I was like, what can we do? So I changed the words with Tamara to a song that went, geography is so good to us. We practice and we learn so much. We study that map from front to back, get on the ball. Now, don't be slack. They learn about a lot of places that are cool and hot. We study every single spot from Spain to South Dakota, and we plot the maps. Then we started plotting our maps. Tamara introduced it to the class, and the class went crazy. So sometimes it just has to come from a different source. And then my students kept saying, oh, Mr. Clark, the math problems are so hard, they're impossible. It gave me an idea. So I went and got some friends and family to donate some sunglasses, and I met the kids down the hall. And I said, detectives, hurry up. They said, we ain't detectives. I said, the day you are, put these sunglasses on. I need some detectives because we got to solve these problems. They're almost impossible. And I was playing the Mission Impossible music in my classroom, and we went down the hall. We were like, dun, 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 dun. We got to my class. I turned the lights on. I turned the Mission Impossible music down low. And y'all, I just taught a basic direct instruction math lesson. Won't nothing no fancy about it. I just called them detectives. I said, all right, Detective Brad, what would you do next? Now, come on, Detective Sarah, can you help me solve this? I wore sunglasses. They wore the sunglasses. I called them detectives. It was really a basic math lesson. The whole school was talking about it. We heard y'all had a big time being detectives in there. The kids said they loved it. Parents, all he's talked about is he got to be a detective. I will go back to the Piggly Wiggly grocery store. 35-year-old men will come up to me. Mr. Clark, remember that day we were detectives in 5th grade? I'm like, yeah, buddy, I remember that day. Because it was just something a little bit different, something that they hadn't experienced before. And then when the kids would come in my classroom to do the math problem of the day, they'll come dragging their feet in. I wanted to find a way to get them in fast. So I got these balloons and I blew them up. I put one balloon on every desk with a magic marker. When the kids came in, they said, oh, is this a party? I said, no, but here's what you're going to do. You have 2 minutes to take that balloon to that magic marker and work out this algebra problem. If you get it right in 2 minutes, I'm going to let you sit on the balloon and pop it. The kids came running in, balloons went in the floor. It was a bit of a mess. But finally I said, all right, everybody, markers down, turn the balloons. And when they turned them, I saw that 2 kids had the correct answer. And I said, you 2 kids may pop your balloons. And they're like, pop, pop. And the other kids said, can we pop our balloons? I said, no, you ain't get it right. You had to get it right to pop the balloon. You didn't get it right. They said, but I tried. I said, I'm glad you tried, but you didn't get it right. They said, but it ain't fair. He pushed my balloon on the floor. I said, the world ain't fair. Push through. They said, please. I said, no. And they kept begging me, please let us pop the balloon. That's when I first realized we're raising a coddled, wussified generation. Those kids really expected me to say, oh, if you tried, you can pop it. No, that's not what America was built on. America was built on work ethic. Come on, work hard, dig deep. And we can't be like that. So I said, no, you ain't popping the balloons. I'm going to tell you what's about to happen. I'm going to teach this lesson on parabolas. It's going to be really complicated. But the information from this lesson will be on tomorrow's problem of the day. So if you pay attention and constipate right now, I bet you can pop tomorrow's balloon. The kids did this. They were focused, asking questions. I was like, oh, okay. It was incredible. And that's when I realized teaching them a work ethic, getting them to work for something. The next day they came in, you could have heard a pin drop. They were like working out the problems. I said, all right, everybody, markers down, turn the balloons. Over half the class got it right. But the better news was the kids who got it wrong didn't say, can we please pop? They were like, oh, and they focused harder. We got to teach these kids a work ethic. So I kept doing stuff like that in North Carolina. Eventually the test scores were through the roof. I came out with these 55 rules for my students called the Essential 55 about how to be a good friend to your classmates, how to hold the door for others, just how to turn in your homework. So I added a lot of structure to the school. And then those rules and my methods started to spread around North Carolina. After 5 years, I had a lot of success there, but then I saw a TV show about schools in Harlem that had violence in overcrowded classrooms. And I said, I'm not going to go teach in Harlem. I'm going to take all these methods. I'm going to see if they'll work in Harlem. So I went to Harlem. I found the school from the TV show. When I first got there, it was challenging. I broke up a fight in the first few minutes in the door when I got there. This big 13-year-old boy was huffing and puffing and swinging. The resource officer was pulling him into the school. She drug him down the hall, sat him in a chair, and went to call his mom and get the principal. This big 13-year-old boy was sitting there like this, just angry. I didn't know what to do. So finally, I just sat down beside him, and he kept going. So finally, I just leaned over to him, and I said, you know what? I was breathing like that one time, and I passed out. And he said, for real? And I said, yeah, I did. And so then we just started talking. And I learned this trick from my parents that, you always want to make people feel special. You always want to make people feel that you see them. And therefore, whenever you're talking to someone, look them right in the eyes. You don't, if something noise is going on, distractions, you just look at people and you let them know that for that moment in time, they have you. Undivided attention. So I did that with that student, and I was like, buddy, I want to hear about your whole day. From the moment you woke up till now, tell me how all this played out. And then we just started talking. After 10 minutes, we were laughing. He said, you're different. He said, if you were my teacher, I wouldn't get in so much trouble. And I think it's just that piece of look at the kids, let them know, I see you. How are you feeling? Don't ask kids how you doing. They'll say, fine. How are you feeling? They'll give you a more accurate response. Just let them know that you see them, that you care about them. And so that's a school where I eventually got a job. It was really, really challenging, but I used my same methods of the passion, the energy with the rigor, and it worked. Eventually, my methods spread around New York City public school system. The kids in that class, they were the #1 scoring class in the district. I was eventually named as the American Teacher of the Year. I got to be on the Oprah Winfrey Show, and Oprah said I should write a book. So I wrote a book called The Essential 55, which is about 55 expectations I have for my classroom students about how to be a good student, how to treat each other, how to treat me, how to handle, if you bump into someone, what you do. And the 55 rules, they don't really make the kids perfect, but it brings so much structure and organization and makes it so much better. And so it's wonderful. Now it's in countries all over the world, in schools, people use it as a discipline plan for their classrooms. When the book came out, I decided that all the money from the book should go into a foundation. So I don't make money from my book. So if you bought a book or something, I didn't make money from that. It all went into a foundation, and the money was actually used to start a school. That's where I teach here in Atlanta. We used the money to buy an old nasty factory in the second highest crime rated area of Atlanta. It was 20 years ago. When I first saw it, there were drug dealers and streetwalkers. I looked at this old factory and I said, this is it. We're going to turn this into a school. And so we used the money from the book to buy the factory, but then all the money from the book was gone. And so I had to turn to the community and say, will you donate a front door? Will you donate a kid's book bag? Will you donate a desk? It took me 3 years and over 3,000 individual donors. But eventually we built a school just off of people's generosity, which is pretty incredible. And now, not only do kids come here, but adults come here as well. Every week, we have about 600 teachers from all over the country and around the world. They come to our school and they sit in our classrooms. They watch me teach. All of our teachers here are either former National Teachers of the Year or they're well decorated nationally in their profession. So when you come to our school, you see all the different innovative techniques we're using in our classrooms, and you get to see all of the teachers and all they're doing, which is pretty special. And you could come as well. It does cost money to come here. A lot of people write grants to get money to come, but all the money, we're a nonprofit. It goes to scholarships for kids, which is really a win-win. It's wonderful. But like I told you, I teach here all day, but I am the administrator. And I want to talk to y'all for a minute about leadership, about how I run the school, about how we view leadership amongst our staff. We picture our school like it's a bus. So for a minute, I want you all to picture your school like it's a bus. And however far the bus goes this year, that equals success. So I don't know what your school uses to determine success, like parent satisfaction, test scores, or whatever you use. If you do really well at that, your bus went really, really far. Well, what moves our bus? We've learned it's not necessarily the students because they come and go. It's not the curriculum or the building. What really makes your bus go is who you hire. Because when you hire an incredible team, you got a great staff, That's going to make the bus fly. And so that's why you are also important. And some of you are what I call runners. Now, a runner is a person in the school. You cut a hole in the floor, you put your feet down, boom, and you are killing it. Runners are really pushing the bus. They come early or they stay late. They volunteer for things that other people might not want to do. They head up a club or a team. They don't get into the negative naggy talking about people or the principal. They're just like, let's just do what's best for kids. They have positive energy, good relationships with students, use common sense. They have great relationships with parents. They don't have any issues. They communicate well. Within 24 hours, parents are hear right back from them. They're just great. The runner's the best you got in the building. Now, then you got some joggers. Now, the joggers, I like joggers. They cut the hole in the floor. They put their feet down and they keep up. They do special projects. They come on time. They contribute. They're not quite a runner. They're not killing it like that, but they do a good job. But one main difference between a jogger and a runner is that a lot of joggers want validation. Every time they do something, they want to make sure it was noticed. And they complain about how hard their job is because they want people to realize how hard they're working. It's like the lady who's in charge of the yearbook. She talks about it all the time. Well, this yearbook's going to be the death of me. I'm going to tell you now, the kids have changed the theme 3 times. The theme's about to be kill a kid. And I am not doing this yearbook next year. They're going to ask me, I will not do this yearbook next year. She's done it 21 years. She's doing it next year, but she's just complaining about it because she wants validation for how hard she's working. It's like the lady in 3rd grade who has the eggs hatching in the incubator. When the eggs hatch in the incubator, nothing supersedes it. Nothing is more important in the world because when you are a jogger, you do work, but you have tunnel vision. Your club or your team, that football team, nothing's more important than that football team. Nothing's more important than this science lab. Nothing's more important than the Lego robotics. You see that, and that is your focus, and nothing is more important than it. And so you have tunnel vision. Instead of seeing, how can I contribute everywhere? How can I embrace all organizations? How can we all work together to better each other? You're very just focused on yourself. Like the lady who's doing the egg hatching, they will hatch on standardized testing day. You know what they'll do? All right, every kid in every class, put your pencils down. The eggs are hatching. You can come back to the test in a minute. Every class is going to come walk through for 5 minutes, see the eggs hatching. Then you go back because they just see, oh, it's about me and my team and my organization and my club and my class. And they don't see how am I affecting everyone. But you know what, y'all? I will hire a jogger. I will hire them. You know why I'll hire them? Well, they do a damn good yearbook. And they do those eggs in the incubators, and I appreciate it. I just wish they realized, don't be so eager to get validation and don't have tunnel vision. And then also a lot of joggers think they're runners. There are some joggers listening to me right now who are going, I'm one of those runners. I'm one of those runners. Because people will come up to me and they'll say, I read your book, Move Your Bus. And I just want to let you know that I'm one of those runners. And I'll think to myself, jogger. Because to be a runner, you have to be humble. You can't want shine on yourself. You can't try to be above others. Okay, but let's lift each other up. Let's be a family. I'll give you another example. So, you know how I said educators come here every week? Well, sometimes they come for a Thursday and a Friday. So the end of a Thursday, we had 600 people here and they were leaving. I was like, bye, everybody. See you tomorrow morning at 8:15. Well, I run a small nonprofit. Once everybody left, we have to move 600 chairs out of the gym, sweep the gym, mop the gym, put 600 chairs back. It's a lot. So we're doing this after everybody left. And I looked over and one of the conference attendees, one of the educators, was helping with the chairs. And I said, sir, you can go ahead. My staff has this. You're our guest. We'll see you tomorrow morning at 8:15. He said, well, no, listen, y'all need some help. That's what I do. I don't mind helping. I said, no. I said, I don't want you to miss your bus. He said, oh, I drove myself. I don't mind. I said, okay, if you want to help. So for an hour, he's helping us move chairs and mop. Great worker. I told my staff, be back at 6 a.m. tomorrow so that we can get everything ready before the adults come in. At 6 a.m., my staff comes in. We're putting out tables and breakfast. The dude walks in. I said, sir, I said 8:15. He said, well, no, I heard you needed help for 6 a.m. I said, that's just my staff. You can come back at 8:15. He said, I'm already here. That's what I do. Can I help out? And I thought to myself, oh, I know what's going on here. He wants a job. I figure he wants to, be a teacher at our academy. So I thought I'd give him the benefit of the doubt. So I sat down with him at lunch and I said, so I assume that you want to teach here. You want to work at RCA. He said, there ain't no way I'd want to work here. I said, huh? He said, my wife and I have 5 kids. We live in Pennsylvania. We're never going to leave that small town. We love it there. I said, well, you don't know. Maybe your family would like Atlanta. He said, no, I don't think so. I said, you don't know, maybe you should apply to teach here. He said, no, I don't want to. I said, well, could I at least call your principal? He said, why would you call my principal? I said, I just want to let him know that you impressed me. He said, okay, I guess you can call him if you want to. So I called the principal, and the principal goes, Ron Clark, why are you calling me? You will not talk to Corey Collins. You will not offer him a job. You leave him alone. He's the best we got in our whole district. You can't have it. I said, really? Tell me more, because I want to know. So ended up finding he's a teacher of the year in the district. Everybody loves him. He's the heartbeat of the school. Y'all, I hired that man. Look, I ain't stupid. If you want a great school, y'all better recruit. You got to recruit the best in the area to come to your building, because then that's better for the kids. It's better for y'all, better bus movement. Everything's going to be awesome. Look, I used our school Sky Miles. I flew Corey, his wife, and those 5 kids to Atlanta. Look, I ain't even good with babies. I was like doing whatever I had to do, milking the baby, because I had to get him into school. And now he works here. Now he's a runner. He's killing it. Everyone loves him. Relationships, awesome. And I knew he would be. You know why I knew he would be awesome? I knew he would be awesome because he volunteered to do those chairs. He said, I'll mop. I don't mind helping out. It's what I do. He didn't want anything from it. And those types of people, there are fewer and fewer of them around. People who like, well, I don't need anything. I'll just help out. That type of a spirit, that can make you a runner. You don't have to have glitter in your classroom. You don't have to stand on a desk and rap a lesson. You don't have to do those things. Just be willing to volunteer. I can't be on the prom committee, but I'm more than happy to help with the cleanup. Y'all need somebody to run to Walmart. People who are willing to uplift others. You know how I told you earlier, we have a bullying problem in our profession where teachers bully each other. Corey's the opposite. He goes around to school. I love that lesson. That's so great. I wish I could be a student in your class. You want me to help you run up these lights? Corey almost sees it as his duty to uplift everyone in the building, and does a phenomenal job of it because he's smart. He realizes if I uplift everyone in the building, they're going to uplift me too. They're going to uplift the kids. It's going to be a better environment. So I'm begging y'all, if you listen to me right now and you know darn well you ain't no runner, you ain't going above and beyond doing all this stuff, here's a way that you can become a runner. Walk up to the people in your building who are going above and beyond and listen. I know you might not like them, but walk up to them and say, I can't be a runner right now. I got some personal stuff going on. I can't be a runner this year, but I think you should go for it. You are a runner and you're killing it. Your lessons are awesome and you go for it. Because I promise you, you have people in your building who are thinking, well, I would do this, but I don't want people to think I'm doing the most. I don't want people to say I'm making them look bad. So you go to them and tell them, no, you go for it. And by giving them the freedom to do that, you get to be more of a runner as well. But we have someone else on the bus, and this person is called the walker. Now, the walker, they've cut a hole in the bus. They put their feet down, but they're kind of being pulled by the bus. They're like, wait, why are we moving so fast? The bus is going too fast. Slow down. They don't like change. They're always complaining. When COVID hit, they complained that they had to teach virtual. Then when they had to teach hybrid, they complained. Then when all the kids came back, they complained. I don't care what's going on. They're going to complain about it. They're just negative. I worked with a walker in the past. She was at a different school. She was the head of the school improvement committee, but she hated the principal. And she was constantly pulling my arm and pulling him to my ear saying, hey, you know what? Did you see that Sleeping Beauty didn't come in until 10 a.m.? Where do you think she was? We can't come in at 10 a.m. She said she's going to make us do extra carpool duties. She's treating us horribly. You know, we ain't never going home. If it were her choice, we'd never leave here. She would constantly complain about the principal. And whenever she would complain about the principal, I'd look her right in the face and I'd say, I agree with you. Because I did not know how to look at a human and say, I can't stand you. Shut up. Will you please shut up? Humans will not tell each other that. All humans will say is, I agree. Yep. But nobody wants to hear your junk. Nobody wants to hear you complain. It's like I watched her. She would walk around the school and complain to everybody. And you know what people would say to her? I know, girl, preach. That's the truth. And then she would walk away. You know what people would do? Rolled her eyes. And I learned quickly, oh, no one likes her. She doesn't know it. Nobody wants to hear her complaining, but they all agree with her because that's what humans do. Humans won't look at you and say, shut up. I don't like you. They'll just say, I agree. And so then I started thinking, I wonder if when I complain about how hard my day was, that people don't want to hear me complain either. I was like, I bet they don't. Ask yourself, do you want to hear people complain? Do you like to hear people complain about your school? You don't want to hear that crap. Hush. They don't hear you either. I mean, they're thinking to themselves, shut up. They just won't say it. And so you've got to, and then a lot of you're complaining and you'll go home and complain. And your spouse, you want your spouse to look forward to you coming home. And if you keep complaining every day you walk in, well, guess what happened today? It was horrible. I'm going to take a nap, then I'll tell you about it. You can't do that. If we go into our homes every day and complain, our spouses are going to stop looking forward to us coming home. They're going to cheat on us. We cannot do this. You've got to learn to shake this stuff off and go home mindset and be positive. Don't take that negative energy home. And then these walkers, these negative people, they handle situations horribly. Like, for example, when I go up to a runner, everyone makes mistakes. I'll say to a runner, hey, I really wish you hadn't said that to the parent. The reason why the parent got so upset is because how you said it. Next time, say it this way, the parent won't get so upset. Here's what a runner will say. I am so sorry, it won't happen again. Or I'm so sorry, I'll say it that way next time. So we tinker the bus, and the bus keeps going. I love runners. I love them because I have never met an administrator who said, I wish we could have a little more drama around here. Someone could cause some drama. No administrator wants drama. So when you cause some drama and the principal comes to you, all the principal wants to hear is this. I'm sorry, it won't happen again. I'll fix it. I'm sorry. They want the drama over. Well, the walkers, honestly, it's the crabby teachers. We all know who they are. But also sometimes it's the younger generation teachers, not all of you, but like it's a lot of the 22 to 26-year-olds because they've been coddled. And so I'll say to them, hey, I really wish you hadn't said that to the parent. The reason why the parent got so upset is because how you said it. Next time, say it this way, the parent won't get so upset. And they'll say, okay, but in my defense, no one has ever told me how to say it that way. And so I'm not really sure how I'm getting in trouble for something that I've never been told. I said, oh, I'm not saying you're in trouble. I'm just saying next time say it this way to avoid trouble. Okay, but I feel like I'm being attacked right now. And I don't like the way I'm being made to feel. I'm like, oh, nobody's trying to make you feel a certain way. I'm just giving you advice for next time to help you. Then they'll start crying. They'll be like, I don't think you understand how hard I'm working. I'm working so hard because I think they do think they're working hard. But this young generation, they went through a dumbed down education system. They haven't worked hard. They think they're working hard. And then they'll go around the whole school and tell everybody. Like, for example, if I come up to you and say, hey, you shouldn't have sent that email that way. Word it this way next time. If you say, got it, will do. And if you don't tell anyone, I like you. I like you. We have a professional relationship. I said, do it this way, we got it. You tell no one, I like you. These walkers could tell everybody. They'll go up to a teacher. Hey, can I tell you what happened to me? I need advice. I just got fussed out. The principal was so upset with me. I don't know how to handle it. Then they'll go to the next class. Hey, you probably already heard what happened to me by now, but I just wanted to make sure you got all the details. And what we do, because we're teachers, we're nurturers, we'll say things like this. Oh, baby, just keep working hard. You're doing a good job. Focus on the kids. Stop it. You can't say that to these people because what they hear is, I am a victim. I have been wronged here. They'll go to the next classroom. Hi, I just want to let you know what happened to me. Oh, what? Oh, your students are coming in? Okay, I'll go fast. So what happened? And they just spread this drama everywhere. And y'all, the principal knows. Everybody knows everything in the school. Like, for example, if I asked you, think about someone at your school who comes early. They arrive early. Now think about somebody at your school that's a great teacher. You'd love to have your child in their classroom. Now think about somebody at your school. You'd probably rather your child not be in that classroom. You know everyone that you work with, and they know you too. You are transparent. Everyone knows if you put effort into your lessons, if you love kids, if you don't, everyone knows how hard you work. And if you're talking about the principal or if you're gossipy, everyone knows that too. And then these people, they go in to ask the principal for the most. Can I leave early on Friday? I want to go to this conference. Can I get this new thing for my classroom? They ask for the most, and the principal knows who you are. And the principal will go, oh, I'm so sorry, we can't do that this time. If you feel like the principal doesn't like you, it's your fault. It's you. And it's you. It ain't nothing with the principal. If you feel like the principal doesn't like you, it's you. And then the runners will ask the principal, can I leave early on Friday? Can I go here? And what we'll tell runners is, of course you can, because they're killing it. And then these people will say, he has favorites. The admin has favorites because he's picking them. I didn't get to go. Y'all, do you really think administrators have favorites? Hell yes. Yes, we do. Yes. You know why? Because our hands are tied in this profession. We can't pay you more. We have no control. How do you run a business when the person who's in charge has no say over what people get paid? You just get paid, just don't quit and don't get fired. You get paid the same as everybody else. It's ridiculous. So what we can do is we can give favor. And if you're working really hard, we can give favor to those people. I do an activity with my staff where we discuss two words, fair and equal. They're different. When you treat your staff equal, where everyone gets the same, that is the first step to the detriment of your building, because your runners will go, why am I working so hard? Why am I killing myself? They'll stop going above and beyond because it's not recognized and it's not fair. Give them favor. They need favor, and that's fair to do so. But there's one final person on the bus, and they called the rider. They ain't even took time to cut the hole in the bus. They just sat down. They pass out worksheets. They're negative. They yell at kids. They don't have good relationships. And I used to tell myself, I'm going to fix these people. I'm going to fix these people. And I go up to them, hey, why don't we do a fun lesson? And why don't you stand up when you teach? The rest of us stand up to teach. Well, I have bursitis. You can't make me stand up. Oh, well, if you have a health issue, you should sit down, but maybe try to smile more. I don't feel like smiling. I know, but sometimes if you make yourself smile, you'll eventually feel better. Why don't we play music when kids come in the room? No, you trying to get me fired because one of them dirty words is going to be in it. I said, no, you can play the instrumental versions from YouTube. I don't have a YouTube account. Oh, you can use mine. And why don't we decorate your door? Because before you know it, it's the end of the year. You got to take that stuff down. I said, well, I'll come back and I'll throw it away at the end of the year. Throw it away. I thought this year was about recycling. And so these people, I learned they got an excuse for everything. There is a reason why they can't do everything. It is maddening, these people who come up with an excuse for it. And so I said, I'm going to put so much heart into these people. And what I found is that when you put a ton of effort in these people, you can make them walk. They ain't never going to run. They ain't never going to jog. And that is not revolution. And y'all, right now in America, we need a revolution. We need it. Come on, power, passion. So I decided I would turn my attention to the runners, putting the attention on the runners in the building. If I uplifted the runners, and if everyone in the building could uplift the runners, and if we could protect the runners and get them to go for it, that can make this energy and this swell in our profession. And that's what I started to do. I'd go in their classrooms, cheer for them, give them extra supplies, let them know they were valued. I gave them freedom and autonomy to teach in the way that they wanted to teach. And then I would say things to them like this. Yesterday, the bell was ringing, and I didn't think you heard it, and I opened your door. I said, oh, the bell rung. And did you hear it? But every kid was looking at you. Not one kid would look away from you. They were all just entranced by you. Then I became entranced by you. You are such a phenomenal educator. I need you to understand, you make my life better. Because I work with you, my life is better, not only professionally, but personally. I love you. When you say stuff like that to a runner, they will slash a parent's tires for you. I mean, they will go above and beyond. So I said, I want my runners to know I see them, I validate them, cheer for them. And when our climate changed to that trajectory, instead of focusing on who wasn't doing what they needed to do, everyone in the building started trying to gravitate in that direction. And that's when you create revolution. And that's when we're going to have change, not only in our schools, but in our profession as a whole. So everyone, I love you so much. Thank you for letting me run my mouth. Y'all probably say another thing, Lord, he talked a lot. But what's going to happen now is we're going to take a 15-minute break. And then I believe at 10:30, some people will be in a breakout session with me. I'm not sure if you have a different breakout session, but for those of you that I will see, I look forward to seeing you at 10:30. Thank you, everybody.
Hey, everyone. Thank you guys so much for joining. It is 9:30 Central Standard Time. So at 9:30 in 15 minutes, Ron Clark will be back. Hey, you guys, it's Jeremy Larson, Superintendent of Paris 95. We're going to go ahead and get started here in about 4 or 5 minutes. And we still have a huge crowd and following of Ron Clark. He is amazing, and we're excited to have him here soon. So we'll get started here shortly. Okay, everyone, we are so excited for Ron Clark. I can tell you there's a lot of truth in everything he just said when he said that relationships with administrators, because I'm one of them and I love my teachers, but I think he's got a lot of truth. So Ron, I appreciate everything you have to say, and we look forward to learning more from you.
Thanks a lot. I appreciate that. So everybody, for this portion, we're going to do question and answer. So if you have a question, anything about our school here at RCA, anything about challenges you may face, or anything that you would like to ask, go ahead and put in the chat, and I'll be like reading through and I'll be answering as we go. But I did want to clarify a couple of things. So somebody put in the chat, they said also, if I go home and vent about having a hard day to my husband, he's going to cheat on me. It was a joke. It's a joke. It's saying you just be mindful of, if you're constantly going home every day and dumping how horrible this profession is, I think that our spouses will eventually start to resent our profession. And then when you say something like, I want to go to this kid's soccer game on Saturday, or I'm going to bake cookies for the kids, you're going to get a response like, why are you going to do that? These kids were disrespectful. And so they'll start to resent it if you complain about it too much. And also, I tell my staff that it's important for us to put a wall in our body. And so if you want, for a minute, just picture you have a wall in your body and you separate your wall from your heart and your brain. In your heart, you put the people you love the most in the world, your family, whoever you love the most in the world, put them in your heart. You have chosen a very difficult profession. This profession will hurt your feelings, y'all. Kids will say stuff sometimes, woo, it can be difficult. Parents can be challenging, test score drama, colleagues. You don't want the profession you've chosen to hurt these people that you love so much. So you got to put a barrier. Then in your brain, you handle things cerebrally. Issues with colleagues, parents that hurt your feelings, students that are difficult. You just cerebrally handle those things, but don't let it seep down into your feelings. Like I had a parent who was upset with me a couple of years ago because she said, I said something that was too harsh to her son. And we are in this generation now of the self-esteem, coddle the children. So you guys kind of go with it. So, and what I said to the kid, it was a little harsh, but it wasn't that harsh. But anyway, I met with the parent and I said, I'm going to apologize to you. I'm going to apologize to your son as well. It was a little harsh. I shouldn't have said it. This has helped me because the next time I go to say something like that to a child, I remember this moment and I won't do it. I'm so sorry. And she said, oh, Mr. Clark, that's all I wanted to hear. And she hugged me and she walked out and I went, boop. It's like I told myself, Ron, you shouldn't have said that. Don't say stuff like that again. But then I let it go. I apologized because I should have apologized. I shook it off. What I don't want us to do as a profession is every time those things happen with colleagues or parents or students, for it to weigh us down and let it seep into the heart. Because then when you go home, you can't be the best mom you could be or the best spouse, the best husband, because you've let this stuff weigh you down. And y'all, we are all good people. Look, we teachers, we go into heaven. Look, so stop beating yourself up so much every time you make a mistake. Learn to deal with it cerebrally, shake the stuff off and move on. I don't know if you saw the report this summer that came out, but the new average amount of time new teachers stay in our profession, it's 3 years and 3 months on average. So it keeps shrinking. So the people who come in our profession, they're not staying long. I think they're not staying long because all of this stuff is seeping down. And when I talked about they're going to cheat on us, it's a joke just to say our family is going to get upset with us if we go home every day and take the weight of the world on us, when sometimes you can shake it off. Someone else said, it's okay to vent. Venting is healthy. Come vent to me. And yeah, some venting is healthy. Do I vent to my spouse? Yeah, I vent. Do I vent to my staff sometimes? Yeah. I mean, it's natural. Sometimes I do it, but then I try to put it in perspective. This is something I really need to talk about or shake it off. And a lot of stuff, I just shake it off. It's not worth taking and dumping on everyone else. Sometimes it's important to sit down with your staff and say, I had a rough day, babe. I need you to rub my feet. That's okay sometimes. But a lot of stuff we're taking home and complaining about, I don't think some of that's necessary. Someone else said that she has a health issue, and so she has to sit down. And look, when I had my colon surgery, y'all, I had to sit down when I came back, and I sat down to teach all day. And then one time I broke my ankle and I sat down for almost 3 months. I sat on a stool to teach for almost 3 months. So sometimes we have no choice, but there are ways to stand up, even if you're sitting down. The music, when the kids come in the classroom, I tried to smile and be in a good mood. I tried to make it a hands-on activity. I tried to make a clever, creative lesson. So by doing those types of things, you're standing up as well. You don't physically have to stand up. I mean, if you can, you should, because I think it's healthy for you to move. I think the human body, if you're healthy, was meant to move. But if you need to sit down for health reasons, by all means, you should sit down, and you should never feel guilty about it. Because look, my colon, my rectum, I sit down. What suggestions do you have for teachers who are being criticized by peers for doing what they feel is right for students, but goes beyond the duties? Like, for example, if you're tutoring kids in their house, or if you're doing things like that and your peers are criticizing that, you know, it really needs to come from leadership. And so I hope all the administrators are here too. The administrator, in order for the bus to go, you have to make it clear to your staff what you want your staff to do. Who are runners? What are the qualities of runners? We do this activity with our school each year where we put white sheets of paper around the walls. And then I ask my staff things like this. When the students leave and go home each day at the end of the day, what thoughts do we want to be on their brain? When a parent asks a kid, how was your day? How do we want them to answer? Another one. When kids think about coming to our school tomorrow, what thoughts should they have? So my staff, we fill out all the walls, and then we talk about it and we go through each one, and I give them stars, and they go and they put stars by things they agree with. And then we end up coming with this consensus of, here's how we want kids to feel: excited. They look forward to coming. They want to explain their day. So we have this idea of this is who we want to be. And then when I back up into it and I say, how are we as educators going to make sure, because we in charge, if we don't accomplish these things, it ain't the kids' fault. It ain't the parents' fault. It's our fault. We have got to make sure that we are reaching these goals. So how are we going to do it? And then as a leader, you explain, we're going to need to be this type of teacher here. We're going to need to be a runner. We're going to be positive with kids. When you pass a kid in the hall, you say hello to them. You have to let your staff know this is what I value. And then once you let everyone know this is what I value, it's an expectation, then hopefully you'll get criticized less by your peers. Challenge of closing the gap along with maintaining typical expectations. Yeah, it's really hard. So like I showed, I do the videos for the kids. I tutor kids after school. We bring in our parents, and this is really important. We bring in our parents at night, and they sit beside their child, and we show them how to tutor their kid. Now, you got to make it fun. The first time I did it was back in 1995, and I told the parents to come, and I only had 4 parents show up, and I was devastated. So I wrote them all handwritten cards to all 64 parents, said, I would love it if you could come next Tuesday. I missed you on Tuesday. Please come. I called them. I said, could you come next Tuesday? Oh, you ain't good in math? Oh, I ain't going to ask you no math questions. I promise. It's going to be a party. Could you just please come? It's really important for your kid. I'm going to have pizza. Come on. And so then I bugged them to death. Finally, I had all 64 parents with their kids crammed into this room. And what I did was I showed them how to tutor their kid at home. We went through step by step. And then at the end of it, I said, now here is a practice test. You can go home and give it to your child. And then you grade it and see how they did. And a mama said, Mr. Clark, what if I don't know how to grade it? I said, oh, I got you. Here's the answer key right here. And then if he misses a section, work with him on that section. Mr. Clark, what if I don't know how to work on that section? Oh, I got you. I've written step by step for you. For number 5, ask her how many marbles were in the bowl. How many marbles were in the bowl? Ask her how many balls were in the room. How many balls were in the room? Tell her she's doing a good job so far. You're doing a good job so far. And then on the right-hand side, I'll have common mistakes. It'll say, if he gets 17 for the answer, say this. You multiplied the exponent when you should have divided it. And the parents, they'll get real comfortable. They'll be like, what are you thinking? You multiplied the exponent. You should have divided it. And so we teach the parents how to tutor, how to be patient. And so we show them what's expected. And that helps with a lot of our kids who are trying to close the gap because they're behind. I used to say this to parents. You need to work with your kid. The test on Friday, he need help. He failing. You know what parents will say to me? Mr. Clark, Jesus is going to hold that pencil on Friday. He's going to be with him. I said, well, in the Bible, Jesus said, be prepared. I think Jesus wants us to work. All right, Mr. Clark, we're going to work. Then I'd grade the test and the kids would fail the test. And I said to the parent, did y'all practice for this? Mr. Clark, I don't understand that global studies stuff. I don't understand that stuff. And so I realized they wanted to help. They didn't know how to help. So I showed them, here's how you tutor. Here's a resource for you. And some of you might be thinking, that's a lot of effort, making a practice test, answer key, all the explanations. But once I've done it, I've got in these households, 30 tutors tutoring for free, all these kids, because I've given them the resources. Test scores are great, makes my life better. So I do things like that to help close the gap. I'm curious about your daily schedules at your school and what you recommend. I teach middle school. We've tried lots of different schedules. We've tried to find a good balance. Do we put an emphasis on math or reading or divide it equally? We're a small school. Is it best to devote more time to math and English? Okay, at our school, you do have to put a focus on math and English. So in science class, there's a big math focus. In health, a big math focus. Language arts is done in, English is done in English class, but also in history class and global studies. So we try to infuse those things all throughout the curriculum. But our schedule at our school is just really different. When I tell you all this, it's going to sound confusing, but our schedule changes every day. We've never had the same schedule at our school. It's different every day because our school is what I have coined as a teacher-centered school. Everything in our school is focused on teachers. For example, we don't have any bulletin boards in our school. Why don't we have bulletin boards? They are teacher time hogs. No teacher wants to spend time doing a bulletin board. And look, I don't need to see leaves on the wall to know it's the fall. I got it. So I wanted to save teacher time. So we also don't post student work because I don't think studies have shown in our results that posting the work actually helps students academically. What will move the needle? Incredible lessons and relationships. So we focus in our school on those two things, and we try to take other things out. So our schedule changes every day because, as I said, we're a teacher-centered school. As a teacher, and y'all, everyone can't do this yet. This is my vision for the future. But I feel like every teacher should be able to say, tomorrow, I want 7th grade from 8 to 11 because I'm doing a lab. Then I want 2 hours off to clean my room because it's going to be a mess. Then I want 6th grade to come to me for an hour to give a test. Then I want an hour off to grade it. Then send them back in the last 30 minutes of the day. I want to give them their test back. So whatever you want as a teacher at our school, that's your schedule for the next day. It puts a lot of stress on me because every night I'm fixing the schedule for the next day. And then sometimes teachers will email me at 11 p.m. Mr. Clark, don't give me 8 a.m. class. I've been drinking. And I'm like, Lord, so I got to change it again. But so it's all about focusing on the teachers in our school and their schedule. And because we focus on the teachers and making them happy, it floats down to everybody. Teachers, when we're not happy, we a mess. Okay, what is a day like at the Ron Clark Academy? What will I learn? Well, you start off, our school is pretty incredible visually. We have flying dragons, trapdoors, secret passageways. It's kind of like, think Harry Potter mixed with Disney World. So when you first come here, it's a very exciting experience. But then once you're here, you're in our classrooms. Like I said earlier, we have challenges. We have kids with learning issues. We have kids with behavior problems. We have average kids, gifted kids. Most of our kids are low income, and there's over 30 kids in every class, or at least 30 in every class. So we got our hands full. What you do when you come into our rooms, you watch us teach. You see how we interact with kids, how we handle discipline, how we get kids, how we get academic rigor, how we bring it to life, how we make it magical. And so you're going throughout the school, observing the best educators I could find in our country, because we looked everywhere. These are the best, most incredible educators. You're interacting with students. You're hearing from their perspective. You attend workshops where we've broken down the science. One of our staff members used to be the head of the National Center for Boys. So you learn the science behind how a boy's brain works, whether they're 17 or 5, and how you as a teacher can adjust your teaching style to reach the brain of a boy, because it's much different. So we show you the science behind that. You learn about how to infuse writing across the curriculum, use how to interact with parents. We do workshops on how to make sure that you are taken care of, so that you have the spirit and the energy so that you can be successful as a teacher. It's a full day. I mean, incredible workshops. It's a great experience, but then I need to warn you about something. At the end of our school, we're going to shoot you down some slides, because the way kids get from place to place in our school, we have slides. And these are not like baby slides. These are like when you go shooting through, and one of them got that jet propulsion. And if we know people are coming, we wax it. So everybody's got to go down the slide, because the slides are a symbol to us. We say in life, a lot of people are taking the stairs. The stairs are the boring way. It's the way everyone's always done it. Y'all, our education profession can't keep taking the stairs. We 41st in the world. We have to try something different, take a different path, be part of the revolution. That's what the slide symbolizes. I even had an 84-year-old lady go down the slide. I was giving her a tour of the school, and Kim Bearden is the co-founder of the school. She said, Ron, don't you even put that woman down that slide. I said, why not? She said, because she'll break a hip. But when I was taking the woman down the grand staircase, she said, I think it'd be quicker if I just shot down that tube. And I said, okay. And so I took her over, I got on the slide, and she was just sitting there. And the first drop is, and I said, are you sure you want to do this? And she said, oh yeah, I'm sure. And I said, okay. And so I pushed her, and she went, I looked over her ledge, she went flying out. She had flying across the lobby, and her dress went up over her head. And so wear pants. If you come, wear some pants. And so I ran under to grab her, and she said, oh, I'm so embarrassed. I said, oh my goodness, I said, I'm so sorry. She said, no, I'm embarrassed because I taught 47 years in Florida, and I took the stairs. Oh, I listened to your story, and I should have slid. If I go back, I'd slide every day. And so it broke my heart, because I was standing in front of a woman, 84 years old, regretting her time in her profession, saying, I wanted to do more. I wish I could go back and teach again, and I'd do more, and I wish I could go back. And so it struck me, because I don't want to be 84. and look back and go, I wish I'd done more. I could just teach again. So that's why every day I'm like, I'm sliding, I'm teaching, positive energy. I'm going for it. It's kind of like, y'all, if you're going to be here, be here. If you're going to be a teacher, teach. We got to be here anyway. Go for it, you know? Is there anything you'd wish you'd known as a first year teacher? Gosh, yeah, a lot of things. I did a whole module series online about just how to help first year teachers. But the most important thing I wish I had known, if I could go back, here's what I would tell myself. Academically, expect more academically. As a first year teacher, I wanted the kids to like me. I wanted them to love me. And I said, oh, if they love me and like me, they'll work for me. So I did a great job of, they loved my class, they liked me. My academic expectations weren't as high as they should have been. And now, you know, it's so rigorous, and I'm pushing these kids, and I've seen the benefits of it. I've seen how far I can take these kids and how it helps them for their future. So if I could go back, I'd say, Ron, you got to ratchet it up. You got to be much harder, be stricter in terms of your expectations, push these kids. That's probably what I'd tell myself as a first year teacher. Also, it's really important as a first year teacher that you hang out with teachers who are positive, good energy. Don't hang out with the teachers who are complaining. If teachers who say things like to you like this, oh, just wait till you get this kid, you're gonna have a handful. You know, people who say stuff like that, people who say stuff like this, you better leave at 4 o'clock, have a healthy life-work balance, and don't you put your own money in your classroom. If you do, you don't want to have anything. Teachers who complain like that, just avoid them. I think that's also very important. Our staff tries to increase rigor, and the administration is concerned with passing grades, whether they truly earn the grades or not. Okay, so this is a good question. What if your school says, let's make it hard? He said, let's push it. And then you got D's and F's on everybody's report cards. The parents gonna come with the torches. They're gonna put you on fire. It won't work. So it's a balance of, how do we have high expectations, but at the same time, the grades, you know, aren't all D's and F's. So I'll tell you what we did the first couple of years here. And I don't know if this is good advice, but it worked for us. As we were transitioning into this advanced rigor, kids would receive the real grades. If they got a 70, it's a 70, a 50, a 50, got a 40, a 40. They got their real grade. On the report card, the grades were adjusted so that you may have ended up with a 64 average. It was bumped to a 74. Or if you got a 74 average, it was bumped to an 84. So the grades, we had to bump them for that final grade for a while as we were transitioning to get the parents used to the rigor and the expectations. And so then after 2 years of the little bumps, then we just stopped the bumps. By then they were accustomed to the expectation. And so that's how we did it. I'm not sure if that's the best advice, but that was the way we got around it. How long were you in the profession before you had these realizations? I'm drowning, but want to be more like our hard chargers. I don't know. I think it was like the first couple of years I wanted to start my own school. I said, we got to do things differently. I got called into the principal's office the fall of my second year of teaching. And she said, Ron, I love what you do, the projects in your class and taking kids to the museums and stuff. She said, but other teachers are feeling a certain kind of way. And so every time you do one of those projects in your classroom, I need you to go co-teach with another teacher and do one in their classroom as well. Then you can go do one just for your kids, but I need you to spread some of these things you're doing around the school. And I was like, I don't even know these other kids. What? But I was like, okay, no problem. I'll do it. And it was frustrating because I wanted to be like, why don't the other teachers just do these projects? I had to go do the projects for them. So it was frustrating. So when I first started teaching, I started having these realizations and started to notice that teachers are sitting down. These kids aren't learning. Come on, we got to get it together. How do you improve rigor without admin support? It's really hard. If you don't have the administrative support, you can try your best. Like you can improve the rigor and the expectations, but the grades, here's the truth. Parents in America right now are more concerned with their child being on the honor roll than getting a good education. They just want a certificate. They just want their child to be in the gifted program, honor roll. Nobody cares if you're really pushing kids. Nobody, look, all of the politicians, Joe Biden, Barack Obama, Donald Trump, not one of them is saying, Our education system, we're 41st in the world. We've got to put everything into education. They're building the wall or they're doing the infrastructure. They're doing whatever they want to do, which is fine. But come on, what are you talking about? Education. Nobody's doing that. And so we can either sit here and complain and say, well, they're not going to support us and help us and give us the resources, or we can just dig deep and say, come on, we got to do it ourselves. If your administrator isn't supporting this because the parents are going to be difficult, what I would do in my class in that situation, I would still make it hard in my classroom, but I would try to really build relationships with the parents. Because if you have relationships with parents, then if they understand what you're doing, they're more willing to accept it. Like, for example, right now, my 5th graders, a lot of them are failing my math class, but I'm sending home videos every day. I've had parent math nights, had parents come for a day in my classroom. I did Saturday tutorial sessions. So I'm doing all these things to show I'm here to help. So the parents haven't complained at all. And when I was in New York City, did the same type of thing, but it was on VHS tapes, believe it or not. But they didn't complain because when they see the teachers working so hard, they don't complain about the rigor as much of their child's grades because they see the opportunities are there for their child to be successful. How do you deal with those negative walkers and riders from spreading their negativity? How do I deal with them? I look at them like they're salt. Salt people to me are people who are just these complaining negative people. It's whoever you don't like in the school. It's salt. And I call them salt because I say their power is about the size of a piece of salt. And they blow into wind. Like, you don't affect me. Like, you just salt. Like, I'll see them come down the hall. I'll be like, hello, how are you doing? Goodbye. And then I'll be like, salt. And I keep on going. I don't let them affect my emotions. When I was in North Carolina teaching, the teacher across the hall did not like me. I did not like her. She had taught like 30,000 years. We didn't get along. And every day I told myself this, if she'd gone and retired, my life would be perfect. My life would be so great if she weren't there. I'd be walking in the hall. I'd see her coming. I'd go, oop, I'd dip in the bathroom. I tried to avoid her. I'd watch when she took her kids to the bathroom because I didn't want to be out there with her. Then when they go in, I'd take my kids out. Like, she consumed my thoughts. This woman was so negative. And I said, if she were just gone, I'd lie in bed at night, dream scenarios. If her husband would divorce her, she'd probably move back to Tallahassee to live with her sister. And shut up, because you had some dream scenarios about somebody leaving too. And I'd lay there and I would, God, I wish she was gone. Now when I look back on my life, I realized how ridiculous I was being. My life was perfect, y'all. My life was perfect. But I was choosing to, in the role of Ron Clark's life, I was casting her as the villain, and I was giving her a lot of power over my emotions. Y'all, I was in my 20s. She did not deserve to have power over my happiness. She sure did not. But yet I was choosing to give it to her. So I learned these people don't know. You have no right over my happiness. You have no right over me, my body, my mind. Nope. I need to go home and be in a good mood. You ain't going to affect me. You salt. I'm polite to them. But in my head, I'm like, they got to go. That's kind of how I deal with it. Mr. Clark, how do you work with a parent that wants all the homework perfect, but then the test is with a parent that wants all the homework perfect, but then the test does not reflect their homework? I'm not sure about this question. Is this a student? So I think you're asking, the kid turns in perfect homework, then the test doesn't reflect that because the parent's doing the homework with them. Look, I don't know. I go back and forth and it depends on the kid, because sometimes I'm thankful that parents sitting there working with the child. And so listen, as long as they're working on it together, I'm fine with it. It's like a tutor for me. But then when the test doesn't reflect it, I would just sit down with the parent and say, here's what's happening on the homework. Here's the test, similar questions. How can we help make it so that this performance is on this performance? And you know what they're going to say? This gets my nerves so bad. The kids say, well, I just got nervous. Or he freaks out when a test comes. I'm like, listen, what if the test were to say the alphabet? You'd be like A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H, I, J, K, L, M, N, P. Why? You wouldn't get nervous because you know it so well. You want to prepare so well so that when you take the test, nerves won't bother you, distractions won't bother you. That's how we got to prepare. I think I'd sit down and talk to the parent and show the differences and say, how can we help get this performance to be here as well? What's your philosophy on homework? At our school, this is what studies show, so we just followed it. 4th graders do 40 minutes, 5th graders 50 minutes, 7th graders 70, 8th grade 80. That's pretty much our philosophy. But then if you're a kid who needs extra tutoring or work, we have extra videos and things like that, resources that you can also use. What What do you do to help the teachers who are afraid to call parents because they've heard the parents are difficult? Okay, listen, here is first year teacher mistake as well. Here's what teachers do. Yeah, I'm just calling. Yes, and Mrs. Wilson. Yep, I teach seventh grade history to your son. Yeah, he's been causing some discipline problems. I was wondering if you could help me with it. You can. Thank you so much. The mama will be like, I'm gonna handle this, and the mama will go handle it. But if you don't call that mama again, and it's 2 weeks later, and you call and say, hey, it's me again. I just want to call, let you. He's doing the thing again. The problems are back. Can you help out? You need to understand what's happening within that 2 week period. Within that 2 week period, your child is saying things like this. That teacher don't like me. She don't like me. And his best friend's going, yeah, she don't like him because other kids talk. And then she blames your son and he ain't even saying nothing. That's how kids work. So this mama's thinking, I don't think this lady really likes my child. And then when you call again, hey, he's a problem again. She's going, I'll handle it. You won't have to worry about it again. And then kid comes back and the discipline problem isn't handled. And so that to me is the worst way to handle it. So I would say, tell your friends, even if they've heard it's a difficult parent, you got to call them or email them. I'll do these really quick calls. Hey, just want to let you know, today he was so much better. I love you. I can tell you're a great parent. Thank you so much for helping me. Then when the kid says, the teacher don't like me. Yes, she does. She called here and said you were doing better and she sees potential in you and then you better do your work. So you have to call them and let them know, I see potential in your child. You have to do this follow-ups. I have my notebook. Where is it? I don't know where I put it, but I have a notebook. I've kept one every year. I have 26 of them where every time I have a contact with a parent, each page is for a different kid. I write down what we talked about, what we decided. If I email, they don't email back. I note that because I teach 150 kids. So it allows me to keep up with all of my conversations because y'all, honestly, I'm 50 this month. So I've got the old brain. I lose, I don't remember everything I tell a parent or say sometimes. So I can go through that notebook before I have a conference with a parent or call, and I know what I said. And I'm also, as a first year teacher, that's important because when you get called to the principal's office and they say, you know, this parent is complaining, oh, here are all the times I've called the parent. Here are all the times they didn't return the call. That can help as well. I'm a music teacher and I love how you added music. Yes. Okay. So this person said they're a music teacher. Every teacher should be doing music. How do you approach someone who's like, oh God, now what do I have to do? So you can just start simple, like just play some music when the kids come in, instrumental music. When they come in my room, I always have music playing. Then I press play. When they leave, I have music playing. It's just a different vibe. Makes the room and the space feel different. It cleanses the space. It's great. So you can do that. When kids are, all right, y'all, take 60 seconds to work on this problem. We'll put on some classical music for 60 seconds while they're doing it. It just feels better. Kids will like your class just because of that. And then if there's a popular song that's on right now or something, like when I was y'all like this one, I was teaching about geography of Texas and we were doing Amarillo by morning, up from San Antonio. Everything that I got is just what I got on. I hope some of y'all are singing with me. So we use like songs that have been written, Billy Joel songs, different songs that tie in with history, or just, or take a popular song that's out right now and just change the chorus. Don't change the whole song, just a little chorus and say, oh kids, remember, and then do the little chorus with them. But using music, it's just powerful. It's important. This was says, how do you pep talk your teachers when it seems that we are the enemy to the parents? We know kids are behind, we want to accelerate them, but sometimes it sure feels like the world's against us. Look, y'all, this job, you know, whoever that woman was that says she don't mind people venting, look, listen to me. I'm gonna vent. It's rough. This job, it's hard. We know it's hard, but it's what we do. It's a mission. And so if you've got parents that are difficult, to me, it comes down to just communication, relationships. We do a kickball game every summer with our parents. And I always say, put this man on my team. Like we've got a parent here right now that's kind of difficult. I'll call him Mr. Jones. I say, put Mr. Jones on my team because he's always just complaining no matter what we do. And so I'm like, oh, you're the leg of steel. You're going to kick me home. Oh, yeah, you're my buddy. And in that environment that's not about academics, we just get to know each other. Then when I see him in the hall and he comes down the hall, Mr. Clark, I'm some kind of hot about that detention. I'm like, Mr. Jones, what's up, buddy? Leg of steel. Come on, my man. And so because I have that relationship, it helps me deal with those situations, calling parents, emailing, your kid's doing a great job. He had a great answer today. He was paying attention better today than yesterday. Give him a hug when he goes home. And also, this is something important, y'all. I'm the first person in my family to go to college on either side. When I left to go to college, my mama bought me the futon, packed up my car, and it's all packed. My college was an hour away from our house. So I thought that my parents were going to follow me in the pickup truck to help me unload my stuff. My mama comes out with a plate of brownies, goes, there you go, buddy, call us when you get all moved in. And I was thinking to myself, they ain't going to help me unload all this stuff. But I was like, okay. And I put the brownies in the seat and I'm driving to the college and I was thinking, maybe they're trying to make me be independent. Maybe it was too hard for them to say goodbye to me. What's going on? So I got to the college. Everybody's parents are there. They had driven to U-Haul from Wisconsin to unload stuff. They come down from New York City. I meet my roommate. I meet his parents, and roommate's mom goes, "No, where are your parents? You must live from far away. They couldn't come today." And I said, "Oh, they just up the street. We're real busy today. We got family stuff." And she said, "Oh, well, I can help you unload your stuff." And the daddy goes, "Come on, son, let's go unload that car." And I'm like, no, I can do it. He's like, no, come on, well, I'll help you out. I'm like, okay. So my roommate who just met his parents helped me unload my car, my stuff. I felt some certain kind of way. So come on, mama. I'm like, mama, everybody's parents are there. They had a U-Haul from Wisconsin. Why couldn't y'all been here? You're just an hour away. Why didn't y'all come? And what my mama said killed me. She said, I was embarrassed to be there. And I said, what? Why would you be embarrassed? She said, I was afraid people were going to ask me what college I went to. And your dad and I decided that we didn't want to have to answer that question because we didn't go and it'd be embarrassing. I said, Mama, nobody would have asked you what college you went to. She said, you don't know people. That's what they would have asked me. And I said, Mama, all you had to say was, we didn't go, but we're so proud that Ron is the first one in our family to ever go. And she said, well, I didn't think of saying that. Y'all, it killed me. And it's still like, I still get teary-eyed thinking about it. Killed me because my mom is brilliant and wonderful and the best person in the world, but she didn't go because she was embarrassed. And then I thought about other times that she wasn't at certain things. I was like, wait a minute. And then now every time that I see parents who won't come to get out of the carpool, they won't come to the meeting, I see my parent. I'll be in IEP meetings all the time. Lord, if I got one more IEP meeting, oh my God. So I'll be in these IEP meetings and the mama won't show up. And staff members will say things like, oh, well, this is half the problem right here. This shows us the problem right here, the mama. And I'm thinking to myself, she's embarrassed. How hard would it be for her to come to this meeting? It's like my mom, she's embarrassed. So whenever I see these parents, I don't think of them as bad parents, I think, or difficult. I think they just don't know how, or they're embarrassed. And so it helps. So I started doing things like this. When they wouldn't get out of the carpool, I'd go out the carpool and say, I love you so much. You're a great mom. Fist bump, fist bump. You know what? If you and I are on the same team, there ain't nothing your kid can't achieve. Because you know what? We the best team ever. And then I'll call parents. I noticed you weren't at the PTA meeting, but I know you a good mama. So I know you want me to fill you in. So I said, let me fill her in because I know she's a good mom. Here are the three main things you need to know from the PTA meeting. Now, the next one's next October on the 15th. Can you come? I know you're going to be there. I love you. And I would call them personally. I know you're a good mom. I know you want to know. I didn't want you to miss something. Then what happened was at the PTA meeting, all these parents were showing up and all these moms were following me like a flock of bees. And I'd turn around and I realized they were all waiting for me to hug them and say, you're a good mom. We're a good team, ain't we? And so I started doing that and they started coming. So instead of visualizing these parents as difficult or challenging parent, maybe there's something else going on that we don't know about. And I tell myself that, because y'all, I've had some parents be really rude to me in the past, but I tell myself it comes from a place where they're advocating for their child. They just don't know how to do it. They're trying to do the right thing. They're just messing it up. Let's see here. What does special education look like? Okay, we do have 3 gifted kids per 30 in the class. Then we have kids who, we've had kids on the spectrum, we have kids with IEPs, we have kids with 504s, but it's all inclusion. Everyone is in the same class and everyone gets that top level curriculum we teach the gifted kid. Our goal is that our gifted kids at our school need tutoring. So it's challenging, but then we have all of the catches to help those kids who are struggling. But what we have found, teaching to the top and finding ways to get everyone else up to that level, that increases the test scores for everyone. Last year's eighth graders, like I said, got $4.8 million in scholarships, but every kid in the class was offered a full scholarship to go to boarding school. They got all this money. Every kid, even the kids that came in, even the kids that have IEPs or learning issues. What are the first steps we can take as teachers to start a revolution and change our school culture? Uplifting the people in your building who are already doing great work. Be a cheerleader for them. Right now, take out your phone and text someone and say, I'm honored to work with you. That project you do every November where you take the kids to the zoo, I think that's incredible. Let people know that you value them, that you see them, uplift them, because then they're going to get the message that it's okay for them to do those types of things. Let me see here. I was on Survivor. What's my favorite Survivor moment? The favorite moment, I'm not sure. My husband came out for the loved one visit. I made it 35 days. So I didn't eat for 35 days. I lost 34 pounds in 35 days. And on Survivor, I was on 2 years ago, for those of you who are wondering, they do a competition where they send in your loved one. We were down to the final 7. And we got to pair together to try and do a water tossing, and we won it, and we got fried chicken. So I was equally as happy about the fried chicken as I was seeing my husband, honestly, because I was starving. I'm just joking. No, that was my best moment. Let me see. Sorry if I didn't get all these questions. I'm so proud. Can you please let me know? Someone said, can you please let me know if this will be available to watch later, if I need to pick up later in the year? I don't think it'll be available later, but we have something here called Club RCA. You can just go to our website, ronclarkacademy.com. We do this every Tuesday night. It's from 8 to 9. My whole staff, we get on and we talk and we give inspiration. And so it's like a club of teachers, and it's really cool. Also, we have a Facebook page where we're constantly talking and sharing ideas about things. So that's a great way that you could connect. It does cost us like $19.95 a month, but all the money goes to scholarships for kids. Like I said, we're a nonprofit. Let me see. I'm so sorry to say me. I'm trying to. What types of things we do before and after school? We have everything from basketball, Lego robotics, Mighty United Nations. We have a lot of kids who come from challenging family situations. So we have 7 small groups. Like if your father was shot, or if your mother's in jail, or if you have a home situation, we have small groups, 7 small groups after school for that. Model UN, we have band, all kinds of things. Is our school departmentalized? Kids see about 8 teachers a day. We have found that kids would rather go into a room for 45 minutes to an hour and then go somewhere else. Kids these days are very much into this. They ain't trying to sit there and listen for a long time to something. They want to be moving. And so we move the kids quite a bit throughout the building, and kids seem to love that. Our principal talks down to parents whose kids struggle, makes them feel like their kids' issues are their fault and bad parenting. We as teachers have to deal with the fallout. Any suggestions about how to change from the top down? Well, it's hard when there's someone in the building who's going against what you feel is right and what you're trying to do. I would say just try and do the best you can to let parents know that you value them, hug on them. You've got to kind of try to counteract the best you can the negativity that's coming from the top. I hate that. Our school uses music as the bell, and then the time in passing periods is great. It's a little pick me up. That's a really good idea. How do you inspire joggers and help open their minds to reduce their tunnel vision tendencies? I think as a leader, it's important to spell out what makes a runner, the qualities of a runner, the attitude of a runner. So that way it's fair. Because if you as a leader, if you want people to do something, but you haven't really told them what you want from them, they don't really know where they're going. So I think being very specific about examples, and these are things I value. When I walk in and I see that there's a lesson where kids are working in pairs and you've taught them how to use great discussion strategies, like I really respect your idea, like whatever it is, I value that. And so once you let everyone know what you value, I think that's important. Are you looking to expand your school as low as kindergarten? If COVID hadn't happened, we would probably have gone to at least 3rd grade by now. We're built to go smaller first. Right now we just have 4th through 8th grade. but we are not going to make other Ron Clark Academies. This is it. I can barely run this one. I ain't making no. But our concept of our school is that you come here, learn our methods, strategies, techniques, whatever you want. Some things you won't like. You'll come here and be like, I don't think I'm going to do that one. And that's fine. Our school is kind of like Walmart. When you go to Walmart, you don't put everything in your cart at Walmart either. You don't want all that stuff. You want like all of our strategies either, but it's your individual professional development to take. I like how they handled that discipline problem. Oh, that's a really cool math lesson. Oh, I really like this house system, how they're rewarding kids with points. So you go through and you take these ideas of what you want, then you as a school say, what do we want to implement? How can we improve our school? Do you have a process in coming up with, incorporating and ironing out these creative ideas? It's a lot. Every Tuesday, we have 15 minutes at our staff meeting where you can throw out something that you want to do, something innovative, something different. And sometimes teachers will say, I appreciate this opportunity. Here's my idea. I don't know how to bring it to life. And so we just kind of brainstorm. It's only 15 minutes a week, but we kind of help each other. And so some things have grown out of it. Like, for example, next Wednesday, this idea grew out of that meeting. We have something called our best day of school ever. So what's going to happen is the kids go into the gym. They all think they're taking a standardized test practice for 4 hours. But then I'm going to say, all right, everyone, this test is very serious. And I go, or we could have the best day of school ever. And then the kids are going to go crazy because the kids know that one day a year, it's our best day of school ever. And what happens on that day is that each class, they're going to get on a bus. And then the bus takes them somewhere around the city of Atlanta. For example, they might go to the zoo. We have Mr. Thompson, our science teacher. He's in a cage with an elephant. The kids get off the bus, come up, and they learn about elephant dung. They dissect it, and it's a lesson about elephants. Then they go get on the bus. They go to a local farm. The health teacher's there. She teaches about pasteurization, and they're milking cows. They get back on the bus. They go to a local pool hall where the geometry teacher has got string and yarn attached from pocket to pocket, and they have to find the area and the perimeter and all the stuff of the triangles. And she's talking about how geometry is in games. I was in Phillips Arena one time, a basketball arena. The kids came in. They had to figure up a math formula to determine how many seats are in the arena. And the group that did it the fastest in 10 minutes won. And then they shot baskets, and we did what's the probability of baskets happening. So it's just really cool. It's called our best day of school ever. That came out of those little 15-minute inventive talks. And then we did something else that came out of that called we kidnap our 8th graders. So the way it works is that around lunchtime, when the 8th graders leave lunch and they're heading to class at the courtyard, staff would get on the roof and we throw balloons at them. And they're like, oh my gosh. And when that happens, they know, oh my gosh, it's the day we're getting kidnapped. The vans pull up, the 8th graders run and get in the vans. Vroom. We take them to a campground and we camp out overnight. We give them onesie pajamas. We roast marshmallows. And a local car dealership gives the onesie pajamas. They're red, they get their name engraved. Then it's tradition the next day, the kids, we bring them back to school for the next day, and they get to wear that onesie pajama all day during school. Well, the first year we did it, I didn't know if these 8th grade parents would be upset with us because we didn't tell anybody we were doing it. So I emailed them right before lunch and I said, we kidnapping your kids today. Don't pick them up today. We're going to bring them back to school tomorrow. We're going camping. Then I sent it. I said, are they going to be upset with me? Then all of a sudden the email started, bloop, 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 and I opened it up and they said, can you keep them through the weekend? I was like, oh, they're going to be just fine. And so, so that's a tradition. So we use those 15 minutes to come up with creative stuff like that. And then it just kind of grows into something great. But everybody, my time is up with y'all for today, but I want to let you know, I love y'all. I love coming to Texas because teachers in Texas always have this big energy and this big spirit. And I love that because that's what's best for kids. I'm sorry I couldn't get to every question. I was trying to read through as fast as I can, but I love you all. Thank you for letting me spend time with y'all. And I wish y'all the best of luck for the rest of the fall. Thank you, Jeremy.